Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, July 26th, 8:46 a.m., and we are back on the market open. This is the second to last week of trading in July. We've got 3 days of trading next week, 29th, 30th, and 31st, Monday through Wednesday. And then we get into August, and after August, we're like basically done with the summers. So we are wrapping up July, which is kind of crazy to say. I don't know if anyone else feels it went pretty fast. I feel like it went fast, but I also feel like it didn't go that fast. Like it was like, we actually lived in July. Sometimes months go so fast you can't believe they were done, like that they actually finished. But markets were crazy in July. We've got some crazy markets today. Markets are up right now, and it looks like the markets might sustain their upness, and we'll talk about why they're up right now, even though we didn't get the best data with PCE, which we'll talk about in a second. But overall, it does look like for the end of July, we will end, even if it's not necessarily fully green, it won't be some catastrophic collapse in July, hopefully, if we stay up for the next couple of days. And then August is a whole different question, and we'll see what happens in August. Yes, today is beach day. Exactly. After this, I'm going to the beach. No, I'm not. You guys know I hate going to the beach. The beach is like so boring to me. I don't enjoy the beach. But we did bust out the sunshine shirt on a Friday to commemorate that we're done with the week. We are done Friday. This week felt long. I'm not gonna lie. This week felt long, even though July itself felt kind of fast. All right, I think let's start off with PCE. Let's get into it. Inbound fills me. The beach sucks. The salt water sucks. I hate sand. It's coarse. Yeah, I've just never been a fan of going to the beach. That's all. Every time Amit wears this shirt, it's market's going green. Oh my gosh. All right, so I need to keep wearing this shirt. Chama says, morning, you need a BBQ shirt. I know a guy. Yeah, dude, you gotta hook me up. You gotta hook me up with a BBQ shirt. Okay, so here we go. PCE numbers are out. It's not that bad. Quite frankly, one part of it is bad, and that's why the market is a little shaky. But outside of that, the market doesn't care. June PCE comes in at 2.6. This is above expectations of 2.5. Core comes in at 2.5, in line with expectations of 2.5. So essentially, we were a little higher on one of the metrics, and we came in line with the other metric. Here's another view of this. So this is also the price index. Price index was 0.1% versus 0.0%. So that was up a little bit. Again, 2.6 versus 2.5. PCE, 2.5 versus 2.6. That's all right. That's a little bit down. Core PCE, 0.2 over 0.1. That's a bit higher. And then core PCE price, 2.6 versus 2.6, estimated at 2.5. So we went up 1 basis point or 100 basis points versus, 1 basis point. Yeah, we went up 1 basis point versus what the market expected. We would go down 1 basis point. It's not bad. I mean, like right now, the market really doesn't care that much. It is what it is. And the market's kind of just like, all right, so if this is what we're going to deal with, then let's keep going. Palantir, 2707. We got Deckers. They had a great earnings. They're up 13%, 951. IWM, we got a lot to talk about in terms of small caps. I know we talked about it a lot this week, but we have some more to dive into. They're up 1.2%, which is nice to see. S&P 500 is 542. That's up about 0.74%. And the QQQ, the NASDAQ, is at 462, up 1%. Tesla is up 1.39%. Now, these stocks were a little bit higher right before we got the report. NVIDIA right here really bouncing up 3.2%. The PCE number came out. You saw a slight dip, but now it's recovering. So the reason for that slight dip, the slight dip was 2.6 versus 2.5 on the June PCE, even though core PCE came in line with expectations. So it's like, all right, it was a little hotter, but it was not. It's kind of like the PPI data we got 2 weeks ago. Like it was a little hotter than expected. It's just not enough to stop the inevitable rate cut. And if anything, it shows you that, inflation is a little bit stickier. So all the people that were saying, oh, GDP growth is so high that inflation's sticky. It's like, no, like our GDP growth is so high that we can't have a justify rate cut. That's probably not what we're going to see happening. Do we have a Friday sell-off coming? Potentially. And we'll see what happens as we get into the market open, because yesterday was a whirlwind of emotions as we got more information. But I think this number was solid. It was good. Could it have been a little bit better? Yes. It was not the number that I think the Fed is going to be like, well, we can't cut in September. It's like, at this point, if the Fed doesn't cut in September, not only do the markets collapse, but they will induce a recession because we are seeing a ton of labor market weakening. We're seeing a ton of consumer spending start to go down in a variety of different companies. Even the price index this month was a little bit lower than expected, or sorry, not personal spending index was lower at 0.3 versus 0.4, which means to an extent consumers are not spending as much. Also, the savings index came out this month, 0.2% versus 0.5%. U.S. personal income savings, which means people are saving less money, and that's obviously not a good thing for the broader economy. So I think we're still going to get the cut in September. It seems likely, and markets are pricing that in right now, which hopefully shouldn't be a bad thing for Friday. We'll talk about Bitcoin as well because Bitcoin is absolutely running, so we'll get into Bitcoin. Now, what's going on with the small cap? So last night, I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but I saw this kind of breakout on Twitter, and I was just... I'll give my thoughts on it as well. So you got the whole Meet Kevin saga going on with Tom Lee. So Meet Kevin basically said Tom Lee is insane for saying that you should get into small caps going into a recession. So this is the post that he made yesterday. Vitaly, our friend of the channel, said, LOL, a real estate agent telling Tom Lee, a seasoned fund manager and investor who's been right for over a decade, that he's insane, only on Twitter and YouTube. And then you actually had Tom Lee himself call him out and just be like, dude, what is wrong with you, right? Meet the new Keith and LeGlaw, angry markets defy his wishes. So I was really curious about Kevin's argument. So I watched his video. I watched his 30-minute video. Now, look, I like Kevin. He's not a bad person. The first 5 minutes of the video was a pitch for the court. If you don't have to believe me. Go watch the video yourself. Like, the first 5 minutes is a pitch for his successful day trading alerts to buy his course. So it was a tough video to get through, but we got through the video, and I looked at all of his arguments for small caps and why small caps are bankrupt and why small caps, you don't want to be in them, yada, yada. I think Kevin, and maybe I'm wrong about this, we'll see. I think Kevin is making the same mistake he made in March when he said there was going to be a recession. I respect Kevin a lot, but he looks at so much data that at some point the data compounds in and of itself to create a narrative inside of your own head. And it gets that you can do this with like individual stocks, I think. Like when you get obsessed with the stock and you start creating a narrative, and even that's very dangerous, right? Because you could be totally wrong about the narrative, but at least that'll help you like really conceptualize it. When you're doing the macro, it's very hard to have a conceptualized thesis on the macro that is built off so many other historical pieces of data, because then it's just compounding in your head. For example, if you thought when the yield curves invert, we have to have a recession, and you said that in 2022, early 2023, you missed out on making a boatload of money. Why? Because it didn't happen. Why? Because, well, there's a lot of reasons why it might not have happened, but the one reason you looked at for it to happen was just not the reason for why it happened again. So his argument, in a nutshell, so you don't have to watch the video, is that the last time small caps actually bounced like this was 2008, 2000. So he's looking at historical times where we've had a collapse, and that led to small caps going up. And then he does some actual analysis on the fact that small caps are just crappy companies. We all know small caps are crappy companies. However, we all know they have not performed in comparison to this broad bull market rally. So Tom Lee's argument, in a nutshell, for those that are like confused, why does he care about small caps? His argument is just like, the market's not going anywhere. The bull market's not going anywhere. We just need it to broaden out. Large cap tech is not going to go up another couple $1 trillion. Like that's just being unrealistic. So if it's going to spread, it's going to spread to things like regionals, financials, small caps, companies that when the cost of borrowing capital goes lower, they benefit. And Kevin's argument was like, yeah, well, when that's happened in the past, boom, recession. And I don't know if that's the argument you can make here. You could try to make that argument, but if you make that argument and you just like say, well, that's the reason why things collapse, I think that's a bad argument to make. I think that's like an uninformed argument to make, especially if you look at some of the technicals on the IWM. It's breaking out of a range and it's breaking out into no volume, meaning it's now starting not that big of a volume shelf in that 220 range, which is where it's at right now, 223, which means it's entering into the territory of price discovery. So Kevin's using a variety of historical arguments. Kevin is saying, oh, all the companies in the IWM are unprofitable. It's like, yeah, we know that. This is a bet on when rates come down, where does the market go? His argument is just, well, it's bad. And therefore recession, therefore small caps bad, therefore NASDAQ bad, therefore everything bad. I don't know if that makes sense. And then, yes, he did buy short QQQ yesterday. So he sold a lot of stuff yesterday. He sold Tesla, Palantir, Amazon, NVIDIA. I'll bring it up right here. Apple, and he bought a Bitcoin ETF and he bought a short QQQ. Now, look, I'm not saying he has to be wrong or anything. I mean, he could be right in the short term. Maybe he's right in the long term. I just think when I watched the video and I tried to myself understand, okay, why is this guy so against Tom Lee, who's talking to thousands of clients every day and has an entire team of 100 people working with him trying to make sense of the markets? Why is this one guy going the contrarian perspective? And I'm like, is it because there's a legit argument? Is there a real point that he's trying to make? And as I'm listening, I'm just like, okay, so the first 5 minutes is selling a course, and then the next 20 minutes is just bringing up a random historical things to say Tom Lee's wrong. Maybe he's right about that, but so far Tom Lee's been dead on. Small caps have outperformed the S&P over 15% over the past month, and he's been correct about how that rotation would play out. The regionals have started to get the majority of the rotation in love. Regionals up right now 0.31%, and they're only up 10% year to date. So the S&P consolidating, meaning S&P stays at, let's call it 545, maybe 550 over the next 2 months, which would, I think, be a consolidation, and other parts of the market moving up. That doesn't mean individual stocks like Tesla have to stay down, by the way. That just means the broader index kind of chills out a bit. I could see other indices like IWM and other companies go higher. I don't know if it has to lead into some upcoming recession. So we'll see. We'll see. What is the name of the video that Kevin was talking about? It's just his latest video on the channel. It's just a crash is coming. So if you go through it, it's again, you got to ask yourself, is that the argument? Is this his fund or his individual investments? That's his fund, but I'm assuming he positions his individual investments the same as his fund. So it's the same thing. Someone says he predicted recession 3 to 4 times already this year. I've been watching him every day for years until I found a Mitts live video this year and switched to just watching him every day. I appreciate you, sure. I think the thing as well about predicting recession is you've got to have a little bit of narcissism. And I don't say that in a malicious way, but you've got to have a little bit of everyone's wrong, I'm right, recession's going to happen. And I think that if you're going to do that, you better be ready to really own it and live up to it. The thing about Kevin is as soon as the information goes the other way, he'll just flip, right? That's how he flipped on Tesla. He flipped on a lot of, he just flips, and he kind of embraces this flip-flopper mentality, which is fine. It's the problem is just if you keep getting it wrong every single time, it's the boy who cried wolf, right? No one's going to believe you. It's like Jeremy Grantham. When you say there's this massive super bubble, no one's going to believe you. And so from that perspective, I don't know if he's right about this whole small caps argument. I really don't think he's correct on this one. I think he's looking at so much data that he's now stuffing himself into a corner of data that's compounding on more data. And then you get to the point where you're just you're not really analyzing anymore. You're just trying to say, well, this must happen because this happened in the past. And it's that's just not how the market works sometimes. Sometimes that doesn't happen. It definitely didn't happen in 2022 when, or the end of 2022 when, we were supposed to get a cataclysmic recession and we bottomed in October. I mean, there's just some things that the historical charts don't provide a precedent for. So I guess we'll see what happens, but IWM is up right now, 1.3%. S&P is up. If you're just joining, we got the inflation data that wasn't as bad as we thought. It was a little bit hotter like PPI, but still was overall good and is a reason why the markets are going up right now. 10-year is up a little bit. 10-year currently, it's down 4.218. So we got the 10-year 4.2. Oil prices are 77.83, so that's down 0.5%. We know we're going to get a juicy CPI going into August because July's inflation, I think it looks like we might get to 2.8 or 2.7, not even just 2.9. Only services might be inflationary this month, but oil is down, shelter is down, airline prices, airline fares should be down, auto insurance should be down. We should have a majority of those core factors of CPI coming down, which will give us CPI, which will give us potentially a good CPI to get us a rate cut. And so we'll see. Amit, have you learned about Dexcom? Yes. So Dexcom, this is a company, you guys might have seen it last night. We covered it a little bit on the market close. They're down 37%. They're up a little bit right now. They went from $107 to $67. These guys make glucose monitoring systems for people with diabetes. And they're called the Glucose Sensor Company. So the core reason that the market, I think, or that they missed expectations is that GLP-1 is becoming a headwind. So the emerging popularity of GLP-1 receptors presents a new dynamic in diabetes treatments. I'm just reading it from here. GLP-1 treatments, which improve blood sugar control and often lead to weight loss, could reduce the dependence on intensive glucose monitoring for some patients. And as a result of that, the CEO said on their call that, hey, you know, we think we've executed, but we are facing some headwinds from a variety of things that are going on in regards to GLP. Oh, here's the exact quote from him right here. So he says, while Dexcom advanced several key strategic initiatives in the second quarter, our execution did not meet our high standards. We have a unique opportunity to serve millions of more customers around the world with our differentiated product portfolio, and we are taking action to improve our execution. They're buying back 750 million of shares. They did $1 billion in revenue, growing 15% year over year. It's just they really missed on their guidance and the overall growth estimates they put out. Now, I'm not buying this thing. I do not know enough about the glucose diabetes industry, but down 37% just goes to show you the level of innovation we're having in the pharmaceutical sector and why Hims is benefiting a lot. Hims, yeah, there you go, up 2.24% right now. If GLP-1 is the future and people start taking that over traditional glucose monitoring systems, then a lot of that money is going to start shifting. A lot of that investor capital is going to start shifting as well. Goldman Sachs thinks that GLP-1 is a $200 billion market in the next 5 years, or I think like 8 years, 2033. So they think it's a massive opportunity. And Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, Hims, etc. These are the companies that are going to try to take advantage of it. So that's why that is down. I have never had Ozempic, so I've never taken it. I think I know a couple people that have taken Ozempic, but yeah, again, it's not just for people with diabetes, but it is something that could potentially, the article was saying, you know, be a hedge against needing systems like Dexcom if you're on GLP-1 or Ozempic. And so I guess that's being shown off in the numbers now. This is a $42 billion company. They lost $30 billion overnight. So we are definitely seeing disruption in that space. Tesla right here, 1.27%, IWM 1.3%, and then KRE up 0.77% on the day. CrowdStrike says 97% of Windows are working properly amid is it time to buy. So that is a good thing. CrowdStrike right here is up 3% in the pre-market. I don't know if that's time to buy. I think Q2 guidance is what we're going to see. So my thesis on CrowdStrike is simple. In Q2, they're going to have to give guidance. If that guidance shows a decreased growth rate in fiscal year 2025, the stock will tank probably another 10%. And that's when you really get excited, because eventually that will recover because it's a premier name and it's going to be around. Cybersecurity spend is going up, all the parts of the thesis. If they don't announce a decrease of 5 to 6% ARR top line growth, then this thing might moon on earnings because the market's gonna be like, okay, this was an overreaction. I don't know which one's gonna happen, but I would bet that they're gonna go down more than they're gonna go up after earnings because they're gonna have to revise their guidance. There's no way, given all the customer rebates and everything they give out. So I'm waiting on CrowdStrike. I bought a couple shares the other day, but I'm waiting for it to get closer to 230, 240, which I think could happen. If it doesn't, then, you know, it's whatever. Then maybe 270, 280 becomes the floor on CrowdStrike. Raytheon up 8% yesterday. L3Harris, another defense contractor, up 3% yesterday. That wasn't bad. Chipotle, 5082. That's up a little bit right now. Is down 1.85%. Let's listen to Michael Saylor. The Bitcoin conference has officially started. You see Bitcoin right here at 67,300. Nice to see Bitcoin getting some momentum. Here's what Saylor had to say about the United States and what they should do with Bitcoin.
Backing the dollar with Bitcoin?
Yeah. Well, you know, I think you back the dollar by doing something economically rational. So when the United States actually purchased Louisiana and we expanded the country and doubled the size of it, we backed the dollar. And when Seward bought Alaska and we found $1 trillion of oil underneath it, we backed the dollar. And when we developed the port of New York City and we engaged in international commerce, we backed the dollar. So the country's got to look to the future, and the future of the country is in cyberspace, and Bitcoin is in essence cyber Manhattan. So the way you back the dollar is you buy Manhattan for pieces of paper and trinkets, and you buy it before it's worth hundreds of trillions of dollars, just like the Dutch bought New York for $50 worth of plastic beads. And so I think that it's right in front of us. The United States owns the majority of the gold in the world. The U.S. federal government owns 28% of the land, you know, in the United States. The U.S. government should own the majority of the Bitcoin in the world.
Now, RFK Jr. said that he would buy $615 billion of Bitcoin if he was elected as president. I don't think he's going to win the presidency, but like, it's kind of the same point that Michael Saylor is making is like, hey, if this is Manhattan property in 1845, wouldn't you want to own as much of it? If you haven't been through the Michael Saylor rabbit hole, it's a quite fascinating rabbit hole when you get into it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to dig through, but I think I had this rabbit hole experience around like February, March. And it's just logical arguments when you break it down. You don't have to agree with them, but the arguments are not like pie in the sky arguments. They're broad arguments from a guy who's very successful. And this guy's worth a lot of money. He's invested early, not only in Bitcoin, but in big tech in 2010. That's when he went, like, his portfolio was all in Amazon, Apple, and Google. And he basically saw the network effects scaling on these companies. It really is phenomenal when you think of the Max 7. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, these are the most important companies in the world, and they are so ingrained in our lives. They're not going anywhere. They're not like these companies. They started, let's call it, 2007-ish to 2010. And for the past decade, they have just ingrained themselves more importantly, Microsoft obviously in the 90s, but more importantly into our lives. And like, they just haven't stopped. They haven't stopped becoming more important, and they just grow and grow and grow. Oh, WhatsApp yesterday, 100 million users in the United States alone. There's 350 million people in the United States. WhatsApp has 33% of the US population using them every day. And I think they have 2 billion users worldwide. I mean, dude, WhatsApp itself could be a public company. YouTube itself could be a public company. It is just astronomical, the level of influence. Bitcoin right here, 67,260, that these companies have in our lives. They're not going away. It's going to be very hard to stop them from going anywhere. And their market caps obviously reflect that influence. And the broader question is, who dethrones them? Like, what is the Max 7 of 2035? And I mean, it's hard to figure out what are those companies really going to be that get to the $4 or $5 trillion market cap. Because you would imagine by 2035, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, they're all in the multi-trillion, approaching maybe 5, 6, 7 trillion market cap based on how inflation goes and where AI grows, how big of a deal it is, versus being stuck at like 1 or 2 trillion. So yeah, Saylor invested in those guys in 2010. And so I think he has a good read on at least understanding where things are going to happen before they happen. I always thought WhatsApp is not being used widely in the US, only iMessage. WhatsApp is more of an international thing. I mean, India uses it dramatically. Brazil, it's big. But in the United States now, apparently, I mean, I use WhatsApp every day, right? I have different group chats set up. So like, it's one of those things that's just become synonymous with messaging as well, even in the United States. Amit, are we going to survive fintech's ERs next week? I think so. So I think SoFi and PayPal we've got next week. We'll see what happens. SoFi right here up 744, and the pre-market's up 2.34%. SoFi to me is now becoming a play on small caps with rate cuts. And I think if that thesis plays out, like anyone who's in SoFi should really want IWM to do well, because it is all positive for what SoFi represents as a company in terms of like cuts going down for lending, but also for their business benefiting from an environment where there's more liquidity. And that's the same exact thing for IWM, same exact thing for Bitcoin as well. So I think SoFi is going to do fine. PayPal, I don't know. Like, this stock has like not moved. Wow. It's at 57. It's like, it's quite literally over the past month. Look at this range that it bumped up to 62 for a second, and then it just popped right back down. It has been one of the worst performing stocks this entire year. It's been a sad story. I don't know what Alex Chris says to change the narrative. I do not think the company is broken. I think the stock is broken, but this is one of those moments. This is like Palantir at 6, where you've got to get on an earnings call and you've got to tell everybody, hey, you guys are all stupid for not owning us, and like really convince people. I don't know if Alex Chris has that in him, but we will see. We will see if that ended up happening. Someone says Crowd did not send $10 gift cards, Amit. I was skeptical of the story when I saw it. And I also kind of thought it was a headline. I'll look into if it was actually true or not. But it made for some great jokes, dude. It made for some great jokes. So whether they did or didn't, which I didn't think they did that. So like, I'll look into it and see if it actually happened or not. But if it didn't happen, at least the headline came out because it was fun. It was definitely a fun joke. Who still uses PayPal? So PayPal still has 450 million monthly users, and people use it to check out online, even if they don't use it to send money to people individually. So I think that's where PayPal's real moat is. Braintree, their back-end processing platform, is growing 30% year over year. So it's like there are components to PayPal. I don't think it's just dead, but it's being priced as if it's dead, which is, the hard part in terms of the stock narrative. Palantir, 2704. So a really nice bounce on Palantir from 2564 last night up to 2712. We were at 2718 in the pre-markets, right now at 2704. Today's going to be another interesting day to see where does this thing go from. So 2542, that was your dip. And what's really important to understand about Palantir as well is that ServiceNow had an incredible earnings, and they're up 14%. ServiceNow is the barometer on where we think SaaS spending is going. So I expect Snowflake, Datadog, Palantir, Atlassian, Adobe, all these companies to put up some decent numbers. Even if their stocks don't reflect it, I don't expect them to tank per se, even if they don't really go that much higher. So Palantir from 25.44 to 27.05 right now. Really exciting bounce. We didn't break below 25, which was really good. So now the floor kind of seemed like when things hit the fan, we go to 25.40. And then it depends on the NASDAQ today, right? So if we get a sharp reversal on the NASDAQ, we get a nice Friday sell-off and the NASDAQ sells off, we go back to like 455. Yeah, Palantir's probably back in that 25 range. But if not, we survive that dip. And now hopefully we can kind of head farther back into the 28s where we were for a long time. So let's see if that plays out. Money market fund updates as well. We got those yesterday. Money markets have decreased by $11.8 billion. So that's not bad to see. 6.14 trillion. It's not as high as it was at 6.15 trillion. Again, 2.5 trillion of that 6 trillion is retail. So this is another part of the Tom Lee small cap thesis is like, hey, once rates come down, you have to find yield. That yield is going to come from interest rate sensitive companies like the Enphases, the Teslas, the small caps of the world. And a lot of that money that's stuck in money markets, it's going to want to get yield because it's not going to be getting the same money that it was, or the same return it was getting in these funds. That 2 trillion ends up leaving, even if only 500 billion leaves from September to December. That's enough to really have some momentum at the end of the year. So I mean, those headwinds are real, and then we just got to see what happens with the election as well. TJ is actually not coming on today. He's he's in Miami with his wife, and he's their flight is kind of conflicting, which when he would usually come on. So he will not be on today, but we'll have him on next week, and we'll go through all the positions in the public portfolio. All of them are expiring in 3 weeks too, so there's not like that much stuff that's expiring anytime today. What was PCE? 2.6 versus 2.5. So we were a little bit hotter than expected, but the core PCE came in line with expectations at 2.5, which is what the market wanted. So a little bit hotter. That's why the market took a slight dip, but not hot enough to get the market that scared about what was overall going on. And that's what we had in PCE. Okay, I want to pull up Liz Young from yesterday because she had some thoughts on the market. I thought what she said made sense. Her overall thesis is transitioning from growth to value, which I think is fair. But I also think her kind of core point hinges on if we really do see enough weakening in the economy to create some, a deeper recession. And I'm not sure if that necessarily plays out. So let me pull up her argument and then we'll keep going. Also, just another excuse to look at Liz Young. So that's all right, here we go.
Post 9 is Liz Young Thomas, SoFi's head of investment strategy, Joe Terranova of Virtus Investment Partners, and Jack Manley of JP Morgan.
Camp of a July cut. I don't think that Powell wants to surprise markets that way. He doesn't like unnecessary drama, and I think it would cause unnecessary drama at this juncture. I think it would make markets believe that something else was wrong that we didn't know about yet. So I still think September is the first time that they cut. But I do think that we're going to start to hear more dovish language from them at the July meeting at Jackson Hole that will get us to a solid place of what our expectations are for September. I also think that commentary over a 50 basis point cut in September is going to continue heating up. That's still a contrarian view, but I think it continues to heat up. When you look at what's happened in the market, so I was on Closing Bell on July 9th, and I mentioned that forward PE ratios on the S&P were in the 89th percentile. We're still there, still high, okay? Not above 90, but still high. When you look at the spread between the equal weight S&P and the market cap weight S&P, the one-year return spread was 17% then. It's narrowed to 11%, but we're still in the 95th percentile. So what does that mean? It means the rotation is on slowly, right? But will it last? We've seen this story before. We've had a lot of head fakes with this before. This time, what is different is that we are approaching a cutting cycle. Typically, a cutting cycle is not this huge expansionary signal for the economy, and a yield curve that's uninverting also not a bullish signal for the economy. So I think what we're going to see is that rotation right now that's happened into financials, into small caps. It can last a little bit longer, but as it conks out, I think we'll see a rotation more into dividend-paying stocks, utilities, staples. Energy, I think, will catch a bid again, and then healthcare.
So kind of, this has been a bit of a.
So again, value is kind of her core argument around where the money's going to go. And maybe she's right on that to an extent, but I don't know if like Verizon is better than Nvidia towards September. Maybe it is, but if it's not, maybe it is again in the small caps.
Staticky message from the market in a sense, because you had this Phoenix Act from small caps and financials in the last couple of weeks. And I keep pointing this out. Usually you see that kind of a rip when the economy's already been weak and you're coming out of, it's like early cycle action in a way, new bull market type action. On the other hand, small caps underperformed vastly in a strongly growing economy up till now. So in other words, there's just a lot of mixed signals about how this market is behaving relative to the underlying economic cycle.
Yeah, I mean, small caps have not been able to get off the mat and make new highs for, I think this is their 6th attempt at doing that. Maybe they do it this time. I think part of what's happening here is because we haven't gotten to the point yet in the AI cycle. Joe mentioned that they're priced for perfection. I think they're priced for profits to be coming in from AI today, and that's just not going to happen yet. We don't have all the use cases. We don't know how margins are going to expand, and now the rubber is hitting the road where investors want the proof. Where is the money going to come from? So some of that impatience that we're seeing, I think there's a rotation just because people don't want to take money out of equities right now. So let's find somewhere else to put it. What's more attractively valued? What still has growth potential? What does well when rates fall? And the answer to most of that is small caps. So that's where we've seen it go. But it can come back out just as quickly if people start to get nervous. And I think the key to that nervousness is whether or not the labor market stays steady.
Yeah, and the thing about the labor market staying steady, I 100% agree with her. Like the money's going into small caps. Will the labor market stay steady? As of now, what we are seeing, we are not seeing the types of cracks in the labor market that would lead you to believe, oh my God, people are losing jobs and like they can't find a job. That's just not happening. So, and this is also why consumer spending has been up, right? Because people have the money, because they have jobs, they have disposable income, and those jobs are paying them, even if wage inflation is slightly higher. So if we, this is where meet Kevin's argument about this recession. I'm like, dude, a recession happens when people don't have money, right? Like at its basic level, like we're 2-year-olds. Like when a recession happens, people have run out of money. It is like people cannot buy a cup of coffee like that. Dunkin' Donuts cannot hit their earnings numbers because no one has money to buy coffee. Everyone has jobs. Everyone has jobs. And like, yes, I know credit is going up. I know defaults are going up. I know personal spending is going down and personal income savings is going down. But at the end of the day, people still are getting money. We're not seeing mass layoffs across the entire board. We saw that in 2022 when Zucks nuked 30,000 people, literally 30,000 people, right? We saw that happen. And then we saw a recession, even though it wasn't like a 2008 type of recession. We saw the stock market fall. What was it? S&P fell 30%. Palantir fell 80%, right? Tesla fell, I think 60%. Like all these stocks went through that moment. I don't think that moment happens again. So if that moment doesn't happen again, I'm like, maybe the recession is coming in 2025, 2026, but we will see it, bro. We're going to see Google start laying off thousands of people randomly. Like if Google can't pay their fancy tech salaries anymore to the product managers, because the product managers, quite frankly, aren't doing anything all day. Shout out to project managers. I love them. But, you know, some of them don't really do anything. And Google's like, dude, we cannot afford to pay Sarah, who lives in her Palo Alto apartment and orders $50 worth of DoorDash for breakfast. Like we can't afford to pay her $200,000 anymore. Then we've got an issue, because then Google's like, okay, we're seeing our advertising slow down, right? Why is advertising slowing down? Because people aren't buying stuff from ads. Why? Because people don't have the money. So we will see that, I think, pretty clearly. Google just put up $25 billion in profits over 90 days. Like what recession? What is where's this argument coming from? So I don't know. I think Tom Lee is correct here. I really do. I don't think Meet Kevin's argument here makes that much sense, but maybe there's some recession indicators I'm not looking at that says it's on the way, like the yield curve inverting, even though that, you know, happened 2 years ago and we haven't had that cataclysmic recession yet. So I guess we'll see, but at its core level, if people have jobs, I think it's going to also be very hard to just have some horrible recession. The short bonds are having a higher yield than a long-term currently. That's one indicator of recession. Yes, that is true. The question is going to be, does that map with the reality of what's happening in the world? Like all the bond macro economists that are trying to use that as a justification for recession, it's not that that's a wrong metric. It's just that that's one metric, right? Another really important metric is, are people losing their jobs? And so far, that's not happening. Now it's getting up there, right? 4.1 to 4. We're at, what is it? 3.5 to 4.1% unemployment. So we're seeing that weakness, but we're not seeing it go to 7-8%. I mean, when we had the pandemic, we shot up to 15% unemployment within a month. That was like a legit recession. That's where the Fed massively cut rates, and we had one of the greatest stock market bubbles since 2000. But it doesn't feel like that's happening right now, at least not in the evidence that we're seeing so far. Love the shirt, Amit Mila. Thank you for that. I like this shirt too, dude. I need to get more shirts like this. First of all, the chest hair is out, so we're rocking the chest hair. That looks good. And then it's a sunny vibe. It's a nice vibe. Got the haircut on Monday. So you see how quick my hair is growing back? You see it? Like, we got the haircut on Monday, and the beard is like, it's like almost growing back. It's like now the edges are getting a little sloppy again. It is so quick, dude. My hair grows so freaking quick. It is a bit ridiculous, quite frankly. The Obamas endorsed Kamala. Yes, that happened today. The Obamas endorsed Kamala. So, dude, it was a little cringe, but Michelle and Barack called Kamala, and you could kind of tell Barack didn't want to do it, but he was like, "We're so happy for your journey." And I'm like, you could have said that 5 days ago when Biden said it. Like, why are you saying it now? I think you kind of realize, all right, she's the one. So yeah, they officially endorsed. And we'll see what happens with Kamala and Trump over the coming weeks. Short seller Andrew Left of Citron Research has been charged with 19 counts of criminal fraud and has also been charged with civil fraud by the SEC for engaging in a $20 million multi-year scheme to defraud followers by publishing false and misleading statements. This is the guy who shorted GameStop over the past 4 years. So he just got charged by the SEC for 19 counts of criminal fraud. Going to be interesting to see if this one actually goes through and he actually gets in trouble for this. I'm sure he's going to fight back with his lawyers. But that is something that's now happening. And we're going to have to see, I guess, what happens with Andrew Left. But I never really loved Andrew Left. He always kind of was like a jerk, quite frankly, even in the way he talks to retail investors. He's never been like a nice person. But I'll be curious to see if this lawsuit actually goes through and if he actually ends up going to jail for this. He was a Palantir short in the past. Yeah, he's shorted a lot of stock. The problem with him shorting is that he publishes statements, and then because of his big audience, when you're publishing stuff, that's why Meet Kevin is very like, don't sue me, bro, like yada yada, because he knows he has a big audience, and if he's like flip-flopping this much every single month, you could get to the point where someone just says, dude, I'm suing you, like this is ridiculous, right? And like maybe that lawsuit wouldn't go through, but he's very cognizant of the fact that he's so everywhere wishy-washy that he could get sued, which is what's happening now with Andrew Left. As you can see, it happens. The SEC is getting ready to charge him, and so it definitely does happen. And so you've got to be a little careful with ultimately how you shape your narrative. The BS short reports are terrible, yes, and Citron Research, because they're a short firm, they have put out a lot of short reports that are just not that well. And that's another reason. When you put out a short report and you say, hey, this company is going out of business, retail buys into it because retail, it ends up believing a lot of stuff. And that leads to the short sellers usually making a lot more money. Yeah, Netflix did not donate to Kamala. Reed Hastings donated $7 million to Kamala. People are thinking Netflix did not. I don't even think companies, maybe they're allowed to make political donations, but they don't do it. But Reed Hastings, who's the founder of Netflix, he specifically donated to Kamala. Also, Mark Cuban endorsed Kamala as well. I mean, look, her campaign is getting more excitement than Biden, 100%. I can feel the energy on her campaign get more excitement. It's just not. I don't know if it's enough to be able to overcome some of the other issues that she has, which is getting swing states in the Rust Belt of the United States. Here's Zucks on his gold chain. I thought this was an interesting clip. We saw the evolution of Zucks over the past couple of years. Here's what he's saying about why he wears a gold chain now.
Tell me about the necklace.
This is something that I worked with a designer to make that has engraved on it the prayer that I sing to my daughters every night when I put them to bed. It's a Jewish prayer called Mishaberach, and it's basically a prayer for health and courage. And it says, may we have the courage to make our lives a blessing. And I just think that's like, and I've sung it to them basically every night of their lives since they were born. Unless I'm out traveling or something, but I try to be around for bedtime. That's kind of my thing. And when I hang out with the kids, it's meaningful for me and our family.
Bro, Zucks is doing a pivot. He is not the scary guy who's in Congress telling senators that they run ads, sipping water like an evil, maniac. He's the cool guy who's, he's wearing the gold chain, singing to his daughters. Like, Zucks has fully changed as a human being. You see that Zucks is looking to buying Supreme. Yeah, Zucks is looking into getting an equity stake into Supreme, the fashion brand, which is also kind of crazy. So he's out here, dude. Zucks is absolutely out here right now. SoFi up 2.7%. Look at Bitcoin, 67.4. If Trump says Bitcoin will be a reserve asset for the dollar on Saturday at 2 p.m., I'll be streaming it live. If he says that, we are going to 70,000. And if we go to 70,000, we just have to break 73. If we break 73, we'll get to 74. If we break 74, I think we head closer to 80. And then if we can hold 80, which is going to be really hard, I think we honestly come back down to 67 after we touch 80 because it's going to be tough to hold it. There's just going to be so many people that are going to sell at that time. But if we get to 80, maybe we have a shot to finally start this Bitcoin bull market. And I know this year has been great for Bitcoin, but we all are looking for 100K. Tom Lee thinks 150 is possible, potentially end of year. Like, we just got to see. Bitcoin inflows past 2 days on the ETFs were 44 million and 31 million. A couple days before that was 427 million, 485 million. So the inflows have been strong. Now we just need the price to keep supporting itself. Also, the halving event kind of rally, we haven't really seen that either, right? We haven't seen a real post-halving event rally. I think we have a couple months until it begins to pick off if you look at it historically. So we need Trump to say some good stuff this weekend. And let's see what happens there. 67,000 on Bitcoin. Someone is saying, how do you think of Kamala when she will do the debate? So interestingly enough, Trump put out a statement today that he's not going to debate Kamala. They said they were going to debate last week. Now they said they're not debating. So I think Trump thinks there's more downside than upside for him to engage in a debate with her. Maybe they end up still having a debate. Kamala was a prosecutor. I've seen her on the floor of the Congress. She is good at like asking questions and kind of getting nitty gritty with stuff. In terms of with Trump, I don't know how well of a debate it would be. It would definitely be more competitive with Biden, 1,000%. But I think even Trump, right? Trump would not get as easy of a go round as he had last time. So it would be competitive, but I don't know if they're actually going to have the debate. But it would be fun if they did have the debate, because that would actually be a real debate. It wouldn't just be, one person talking, the other person kind of struggling to talk. So we'll see. We'll see if that ends up playing out. You say her name differently every time. Well, you know me, dude. I can't pronounce shit. So we were doing a Palantir giveaway yesterday on the market close, and I said the senator's name wrong. I realized afterwards, I was like, oh, I completely said that wrong. But it is what it is. That is the nature of my existence, to pronounce things wrong. All right, we got 20 seconds. Let's see how this Friday opens. Hopefully we get a bounce. We stay on the trampoline like we were yesterday. We sustain the bounce. We keep things going. And Friday doesn't have too harsh of a sell-off, given we went down 3% on Tuesday. So let's see what goes on. Here we go. Friday, July 26th, 9:30 a.m. The stock market is now open. Wake your ass up. Here we go. Palantir at 27.03 as we open on the day. Not bad for good old Palantir. 27.05 as we open on the day. We've got QQQ 461, little bit of a red candle, but it's still up 0.81%, which is not bad as well. CrowdStrike 259 up 2.23%. HIMS 2377 up 2.44%. IWM up 1.39%. There you go, up 1.5 now on IWM. Let's see if it holds on, but I have a little bit of a red candle from 224, but we're still up 1.39 on the day. Regionals are up 1%. S&P's up 0.5%. Deckers is up 15%, $25 billion company. People are buying shoes, which is why Deckers is going higher. So Deckers is up. Raytheon is up about 0.2%. Chipotle up 0.75%. Texas Roadhouse up 3.64%. They actually had a pretty solid earnings, growing 15% year over year. Actually, 18%, I think they're growing. So Texas Roadhouse 172. NVIDIA up 3%, 115. Apple right here, 218. They're up 0.235%. Robinhood 2155 up 1.755%. Celsius 4692. They're up. Shopify 61. That's up. Enovix up 1.3. Uber's down. Google. So Google's down because OpenAI came out with a competitor to Google called Search GPT. I really think it's stupid. I don't think a lot of people are going to use it at all. I think it's kind of dumb. So I don't think Search GPT is going to take away market share from Google. It's basically like Perplexity. I think people are going to still use Google at the end of the day, but they did come out with it. And if it does take a little bit of market share from Google, then obviously maybe that's not the best for Google, right? So for Google, 167, that's why the market has it down below that 175 range. Now it's down a good 10% or a good 7% from the top at around 193. ARK is up 1.1%. Netflix is up 1.2%. MicroStrategy up 6.3%. Disney up 0.33%. XLF financials are up. Bank of America is up. SMCI 715. That's up 2.3%. Enphase up 2%. Coinbase is up. Palantir $27 right now. 26.97. Just falling a little bit right there. Let's go to the semis. Semis are green. NVIDIA, AMD, which fell below 140 yesterday. SMCI, Intel, ON, ASML, Broadcom, Qualcomm, TSM, ARM, Marvell, Dell, Lam Research, Micron, all of these guys are green today. So they're all bouncing after a pretty bloody week for the semis. Max 7 is all green except Tesla. Interesting. And Google. Interesting. Why is Tesla red today? Why is Tesla red? That is interesting. Tesla's red. Huh. I actually don't know. I'll try to find something. I don't know why Tesla's red. You would think Tesla moves on with the rest of the Max 7. Meta's bouncing right here up 2.3%. I know why Google's red with the OpenAI news, but Tesla not sure. Amazon is down, and then Amazon's up slightly, and then Nvidia is up 2.54%. IWM, again, this is the thing to keep an eye on, 1.42. If this bad boy can go up another 2 to 3% on a Friday in particular, it would be exciting, dude. It would be really exciting to see that thesis is beginning to play out as well. It got downgraded. Okay, that's fair. I mean, they got a couple different downgrades after earnings as well, but they also got some upgrades. Not upgrades, but like reiterations of outperforms. So that's interesting. That one's down. Kramer did say he loves Tesla. Now, I don't know why he came out of nowhere. He's just saying like, yeah, you gotta have Tesla for bots and FSD. And I'm like, okay, it's been a couple years, but like he's fully on board to this thesis now. So Kramer is bullish on Tesla. Abercrombie's up 2%, TNA up 5%, triple leverage, IWM, GameStop up 2.5%, Chewy 2581, that's up 2%, Delta. Oh, Delta's issuing out like 12,000 miles to every customer that got screwed from the whole situation over the past couple of days, which is a good thing. But maybe they're going to say, hey, CrowdStrike's paying for these miles because that's a lot of free miles to give to people. So we'll see how that one plays out for them going into their next earnings as well. The cruise lines are up a little bit. Royal Caribbean had a good earnings yesterday. They fell yesterday as a lot of growth stocks fell. They're up about 2%, and then Carnival's up about 1.17. Netflix 644. That's up. Ford fell 15% yesterday. Ford fell the most it fell since 2008. I mean, it was bad, dude. I mean, look at this drop. 1485 all the way down to 1115. It was one of the worst drops Ford has ever had. And that goes to show you, hey, legacy OEMs, automakers, it's just not as easy for them to survive in this new environment that we're in. Kramer attacked Ford. I didn't know that. Oh, wow. I didn't know Kramer attacked Ford. I did not know that. But I mean, at the end of the day, Ford is just not at the level that Tesla's executing at. 44 billion market cap on Ford. Tesla, again, the reason Tesla has a $630 billion difference in terms of its market cap is because of FSD. The world believes that FSD is real. 12.5 is real. 13 is going to be realer. Cybercap's going to be real. And that is why you end up liking Tesla over the other guys. Palantir 2715. There's a bounce right there. SoFi 747 up 2.75%. Yeah. Look at IWM. Look at that. 2%, almost 2%, 1.75. Wow. We are really seeing momentum there. TNA is up 6% now because of this. And the S&P is green. And the S&P 542, that's green as well, up 0.71%. S&P is not slowing down with IWM. They're both bouncing. Now, we'll see by like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. if this thing goes totally negative. But this looks like kind of a healthy bounce. These are like multiple green candles on top of each other. It looks like there's support to this bounce. Short QQQ that Meet Kevin bought yesterday, that is down 2%. And then short Biddy, or short Bitcoin, that is also down 5% right now, 4.48%. Let's see. I mean, it's only been 6 minutes. We'll see if, throughout the day things change. I'm confused why he bought the short Bitcoin ETF during the Bitcoin conference. Maybe he thinks historically it sells off during the Bitcoin conference. But, I mean, today the conference is having a positive effect on Bitcoin, I would imagine. And so, yeah, anything short Bitcoin, might get liquidated over the next couple of days. But Bitcoin's going up. Look at that, 67.7. Let's go to the crypto stocks. Crypto. We're green. Robin at 2160, Marathon 2170, Coinbase 246, CleanSpark 17. That's up 6%. Ethereum's at 3250. Cypher 7%. Market Strategy 8%. Bitfarm 6%. Yeah, the crypto stocks are having fun. Look at Bitcoin. Might make a run to 68 right here. Might make a run to 68. Let's see. 12,000 miles is like a $10 gift card. Really? Well, then maybe Delta can afford to do it. How was the report this morning? PCE, for those that are just joining, we came in slightly higher, 2.6 versus 2.5 on the monthly, and then on the core, 2.5 versus 2.5. So in line with expectations, a little bit higher for the monthly, but overall the market did not care too much. So Dexcom is now down 40%, the glucose company. So that one's not really catching a bid anywhere. So that one is still down to, whoa, wow. So 42 billion to 26 billion. Yeah, so Webull didn't update the market cap. It went from 42 billion to 26 billion in a day. Goodness, dude. Wild. Absolutely wild. Okay, so Tesla's going down 1%. Tesla's now falling. Does anyone know why Tesla's red? Is this just random? Tesla's red? Why is Tesla red? That's weird. I don't, there's no news this morning. You would think Tesla just has some support from yesterday and it rebounds. IWM almost up 2% now, 225. QQQ is up as well. The NASDAQ and S&P are up with IWM. IWM is just outperforming. It's legit outperforming. Regional's up 1.3. They're outperforming. S&P's up 0.8. QQQ's up 0.7. IWM's up 1.7. So it's outperforming by an entire percent. Bitcoin 67.6. CrowdStrike 257. And then Palantir 27.15, holding on to 27 as well. More sellers than buyers. Okay, that is a very Amit-like answer for that question. Interesting. I don't know. I didn't expect it to be down today. But I mean, we're seeing the outperformance of the IWM, which is not bad. I mean, that's kind of what you want to see right here. It's part of that thesis. It's how you want the thesis to play out. Okay, some news on Apple. Apple cuts iPhone price in India amid China's slowdown. Apple has reduced the prices of its Pro iPhone model in India by 4% after the country's government slashed import duties on imported smartphones. Apple's price ranges from 3.6 to 2,300 for iPhone 15. I think it's talking 2,700. It's using different rupees here. It's using the different symbol there. So basically up to 6,000 rupees for the iPhone 15 Pro. This is the first time Apple has lowered prices on current generation Pro models in India. The price cuts happens with demand. Okay, so this is like not really bearish. Apple is down a little bit on this news. I mean, it's kind of bearish because it means demand is slowing down, but if they are going to increase the volume of people getting an iPhone, I don't think that's necessarily bearish. In India, it costs $1,550 to buy an iPhone, and it costs $1,000 in the United States. So India is still about $500 more expensive than in America. Citron shorted Tesla. Oh, wait, did they come out with a report today that they're shorting Tesla? That would be funny, dude. If Citron's shorting Tesla the day he gets investigated, that would be kind of crazy. That would be. I don't think that's. No, I don't think they're shorting Tesla today, but that would be interesting if they're shorting Tesla. Tesla's 217. Yeah, this is weird. Why is I don't know. I don't know why it's down 1%. I'm trying to figure it out. I didn't see any news at all today. Elon didn't tweet anything. I don't think. MicroStrategy is up 10%. KNSL. What is KNSL? KNSL. Kinsale Capital is up 13%. Market cap 9 billion. Kinsale Capital. What is this? Is this a hedge fund or something? Or a private equity fund? Kinsale Capital is an insurance company. Okay, interesting. Did not know about this. Up 14%. They've been around since 2009. Do we have any earnings today as well? Let me check if we had any earnings in the morning. To next week is going to be crazy for earnings. Okay, so in the morning, here we go. We had Colgate today. Colgate beat on revenue, beat on EPS. I forgot Colgate was public. CL. Colgate is up 3%. Okay, that's good. We had BMY, Bristol Myers Squibb. That's a important pharmaceutical. They beat on EPS by 27%, beat on revenue by 5%. Their stock is up 9%. Nice. Nice to see. That's a strong beginning to earnings as well. And then we have 3M. I think they're up 13%, right? Yeah, they beat on EPS by 14%. They beat on revenue by 2%. MMM, they are doing well, up 14%. Okay, not bad, dude. Not a bad week to close out earnings. I mean, earnings this week have been a little wishy-washy in some areas, but Spotify had a great earnings. Google had a great earnings. UPS, not the best earnings. Bristol Myers Squibb, great earnings today as well. I mean, beating EPS by 27% is incredible. So next week, we've got all big tech. And the week after that, we've got Palantir and Robinhood. And so we'll see what happens. Also, next week, we have FinTech, SoFi, and PayPal. Palantir, 26.92. So we're seeing a little bit of a drop now. IWM falling about 0.3%. S&P falling a little bit as well. A little bit of a reversal. Got some red candles coming in. QQQ at 460. We've still got a healthy margin before we go red for the day. So let's see if that happens. I'm really curious between now and like 10 a.m. Do we actually go red for the day? Because we've done it for the past 3 days. So today, let's see if that happens again or if we stay on. Apparently, Tesla had an analyst downgrade. Okay, let me find this downgrade. Where is this downgrade? I should be able to find it. Because they got all their downgrades already, I thought, last month or like right after earnings. Duolingo was upgraded to 245 from Bank of America. Bristol Myers Squibb, good earnings. Walmart's investing $200 million in autonomous forklifts, again, automating jobs. So that's a trend that continues to happen. Tesla, Adam Jonas reiterates overweight rating, 310 price target. Okay, so Adam Jonas reiterated he's bullish. So where the hell is the bearish? Where's the downgrade? Where is the downgrade? Oh, so Kelly was lying. I'm just repeating what people are saying under my post. Okay, so you're lying, basically. You have no evidence for your analysis. Thank you. Appreciate that. I mean, have you seen a real Wall Street Journal newspaper? I saw one in Barnes and Nobles, and it was the coolest thing ever. Yeah, I actually bought it last year for like $6.90. It was a waste of money. Like, I have no idea why paper newspapers exist, dude. Like so many trees were killed to make a newspaper. Like, if you think about the concept of the newspaper, it's the stupidest thing in the world. The news changes in a day, and in this news cycle, really in like an hour. So if you go through the printing press and you get out a story, and then you print out all this paper, and then you like try to sell it, like, it's irrelevant within hours. Like, I don't understand why newspapers are around. It makes no sense. And like, I'm not like trying to be a tree hugger or anything and save the environment, but like, it quite literally is a waste of trees. We are like, who reads the newspaper? Who actually reads the newspaper? Like, I bought the Wall Street Journal last year. I think I still have it in like my in my drawer. And I remember I didn't read it. It was kind of cool to like hold it, but I was just like, this is dumb, dude. This is like a one-day thing, and like tomorrow it's irrelevant. I know before the internet, paper newspaper was the only way to get news. But like now it is absolutely insane that we have a printing press with hundreds of thousands of newspapers across the world that are printing real news onto paper that will be thrown in the trash in hours. It makes no sense to me. S&P at 542. It just makes no sense. And it was expensive, dude. It was like $650 for 1 day's worth of news. Like, also, how affecting is the advertising there? Like in the past when you had no social media, like the ads were the only place to find them were the newspaper. But now, like, you're not gonna like look at the ad on the newspaper. It's not gonna be like as exciting to like get into or to convert as a user on that ad. He's hating on newspapers 1000%, dude. Newspapers make no sense. Oh, by the way, you guys want to see something cool? So, yesterday, you guys know I don't like mayo, right? I'm not a fan of mayo. We had the head of Palantir's global commercial. He tweeted something about there's this drug lord that got captured called El Mayo. I don't know if you guys saw that news yesterday, but he kind of tweeted a double entendre. So he said, Ted Marbury, I really, really dislike mayo and its reputation laundering recreation as aioli, which he's right about that. So better believe I gave a big fist bump after learning El Mayo got busted. Smell you later, you disgusted, smelly sandwich spread of a human being. So he was talking about the drug guy, right? But I thought he was talking about mayo. So I followed up by saying, Ted, I have a lot of respect for you. I have publicly said mayo is the most disgusting thing on this planet. Spicy mayo, mayo with ketchup, aioli, all of it's disgusting. I now have more respect for you than you can imagine. After I tweeted this, I realized, oh, he was talking about like the drug lord. Dude. But then he responds, the only cause that could ever pull me from Palantir would be to wage a campaign against Big Mayo. So he actually does not like mayo. It should be on the banned substance list. I have all kinds of plans for how I will take them down whenever Carp has had enough of me. There is a lot to learn from the oat milk people on the score, brothers in arms. I'm telling you, we are going to make the revolution against mayo. Before I die, I will make this happen. I will make people believe that mayo is disgusting. Anyone who eats mayo in the chat on your burgers, just know next time you're doing it, you're like literally committing a crime. Like, I want everyone, you know, Kendrick Lamar like diss Drake. If you guys kept up with his rap beef, and now it's kind of hard for Drake fans to listen to Drake's music because Kendrick Lamar like quite literally beat him in the beef, and like it's kind of hard to listen to your favorite rapper after they take a big L. I want you guys to eat mayo on your burgers and like think about throwing up just like I do, so that one day you just get rid of mayo in your life. I want it to happen. I want to convert everyone on the planet. Everybody. You put mayo on your barbecue? Oh my, I literally just vomited in my mouth, dude. You put mayo on ribs? Are you insane? On pulled pork? Goodness gracious, dude. This is not healthy. This is not healthy. No mayo and no newspapers. Correct. No mayo, no newspapers. Bitcoin 67,572. If someone, okay, here's my 3 biggest fears in life. I wouldn't say newspapers is a fear, but I don't like it. My biggest fear is mice, dude. I don't like mice. I don't know if you guys do that, but I can't, dude. Mice. We had mice in our old house a couple years ago. It was bad, bro. It was really bad. We had fucking, dude. Like eventually, we got them exterminated and stuff. But like, I saw that little mice run through the eye, dude. I cannot. Oh, I get goosebumps. I get chill. Like I cannot handle seeing a mouse. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. So mice and mayo and newspapers. If you put a mouse on a newspaper and put mayo on it, I might die. Like if you put that in front of me, I might like actually like cry. So mice, mayo, and newspapers. It's just, I can't do it. Have you seen an NYC rat? Yes, I have. And like, that's why when people have hamsters as pets, I'm like, are you insane, dude? A hamster as a pet? Like, are you fucking crazy? NVIDIA right here, 113. Where's IWM? Is it falling right here? IWM? No, it's up. It's still up. It's recovering 2%. Hamsters are ridiculous, dude. It's just a little mouse. It's a little rodent. Like, it's disgusting, dude. Absolutely. Like, and again, I don't want to kill mice or anything like that. I don't want to be in the presence of them. I don't want to be any mice. I don't want to have mice or mayo near me in my life. Kelly says a mouse crossed my path while driving yesterday. How did you even see it if you were driving? You could see a mouse? That must have been like good eyesight to see that. No, I don't like mice, dude. I don't like it. I'm with you on the hamster. Yeah, dude. It's like, dude, why are we doing a hamster? I know what I'm getting him for his birthday. I don't like cats either, dude. I don't like cats. Cats are so like cat. First of all, they think they're better than everybody else. Okay, they're not really as fun as dogs. I had a cat for a little bit when I was younger, and then we returned it. It's a long story, but cats are not like they're not fun to play with. They're just like they I don't know. And cats, I kind of feel like a cat's gonna attack you, dude. Like I always get the ick when I look at cats. I'm a dog person over a cat any day of the week. I can't do cats. What, you guys like cats? Is that the trigger for you guys? You like cats? Dude, cats over like a golden retriever or a pug over freaking or like a cat over a golden retriever is insane. I don't know what sane person thinks, "Oh, I don't want a golden retriever. I want a cat." Like what? I want a kitty. Like what? Get out of here. Get out of here, bro. Cats keep the mice and rats away. That's actually true. If I get a cat, that'll actually keep the mice away. All right. So Bitcoin's at 67, Palantir's at 2703. The market's still holding up, folks. We're not going down. QQQ is up 0.54, and S&P is holding up as well. I think we might have an okay market today. 0.70. We're not seeing weakness yet. IWM still at 2%, 1.74. Earnings seems to be good today. I see a lot of green. I don't see that much red. Maybe it'll happen in the next, hour, but so far so good. We got a green market. We have a very green market. What the hell do you like besides Palantir? That's a good question. I like Robinhood. I like Palantir and Robinhood. Dude, yesterday I was so after we started the new show on Twitter with Tech Talk. So it was from 6 to 8. So basically we did the market open from close from 3:45 to 5:30, and then we did another tech show from 6 to 8. So from 3:45 to 8, it was 5 hours of just stocks. It was a lot. So I didn't even get time to think after stocks after yesterday, like because it was just inundated with stocks all day, and that's gonna happen every Thursday now. So every Thursday is gonna be like literally 6 hours of stocks at the end of the afternoon. Kelly said, "Men, oh wow, you think you're funny? You think you're so funny? You think you're so funny?" I did see "Don't F with Cats." I saw that on Netflix. That's a very good documentary. If anyone who has not watched this, "Don't F with Cats," it's a very, very good documentary. It's like like I remember watching it in 2019 and I was like hooked. I like could not stop watching it. It's good. It's really good. So it's a cat documentary, but it's more than a cat documentary. It goes way deeper into just cats. So it's a good one. Is Tesla recovering? Tesla's recovering a little bit. Where's Tesla? Tesla 220. Oh wow, Tesla went green. Wow, Tesla went green. Look at that. We might have a real bounce today, folks. We might actually have a market that holds up today because yesterday by 2:40 we lost all the gains we had on the bounce. So let's see if it actually plays out. I didn't see the Rocket Lab documentary on HBO yet, but I do think it's a good one. I know a couple people that watched it, which is why I think I'll watch it soon. Where is Rocket Lab, by the way? I think it was up yesterday. Rocket Lab, it's up. Wow, 3%. There you go. 3.5. Rocket Lab catching a bit as well. 543. It was stuck in the 350s for a good month. Celsius also recovering from the bottom. Yeah, Celsius right here at 47.77. Maybe 45 is the bottom. We'll see on earnings next week. But the market going up definitely does help Celsius catch a bit. It's a new tech show with someone named Stock Talk on Twitter. So it's 6 to 8 every Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. But it was another 2 hours of tech. And so it was a lot of stuff. And then right after that, Derek called me. And then we talked for 2 hours about stocks, startups, and all this shit. So literally yesterday, from it was like 3:45 to like 10:30, it was just markets. This is why on the weekend, I try not to think about the markets, dude. I actually try to like give myself a break on Saturdays and like just not think about markets. Because at some point, look at the IWM's about to be 1.97. It's about to be 2%, dude. Wow, there you go. 2%. 225 on IWM, 2%. Look at that. Holy crap, dude. Yeah, Meet Kevin Short is not going well right now on that yet. We'll see what happens. But QQQ is also up 0.5. S&P is up 0.7. And then IWM's up a full 2%. Wow. Shout out to Tom Lee. It's not bad. But yeah, on Saturdays, I try not to think about stocks, dude. I try to like think about anything else. Robinhood 2190. Okay, there you go. Robinhood moving up as well. Robinhood's going to, I think, explode after earnings. Robinhood pulled back because the market pulled back. This was nothing fundamental with Robinhood. I think this is absolutely a dip to buy. But it needs good earnings in the bull market to continue, and then it should do its thing. But we got to get through some of the choppiness of August to get there. But yeah, on Saturdays I really try to not think about the markets, but I'm still tweeting the whole day, so I'm still thinking about the markets. But I don't know. At some point, you gotta turn your mind off, because if you don't, it really gets to a point then you're gonna start not liking it. Like you're gonna start not wanting to consume content anymore around the stock market. So you really gotta shut your brain off a little bit at night. Meet Kevin short at IWM. He didn't short IWM. He shorted the market. I mean, he went long short QQQ, so he shorted the market, but he is very bearish on IWM. He does not think this thesis makes any sense. Celsius at 47.99, Tesla 219, Apple 217, short QQQ 924, Palantir 27.05 on the day right now. MicroStrategy's up 10%. Wow. MicroStrategy. There you go. 10.35. 1772. Dude, that's exciting. The Bitcoin conference is going on right now. Where's BTC? Wow. Bitcoin's about to hit 68, folks. 67.9. 67.9. Here you go. Adam, are you? Yeah, Adam, I'll send you the link. Adam, you're there? I'm sending you the link on WhatsApp. All right, folks. Maybe we have Adam join us today, get some of his thoughts on the market. Adam, I just sent it to you. You're good. Oh, Adam just sent me a screenshot. I'm just seeing it right now. He got a dividend payment from BitX. He got $1,400. Oh, wow. Yeah, me and Adam found out the other day that BitX, the 2x leverage Bitcoin fund, actually pays a dividend. And we're like, holy shit, it pays a dividend, dude. It's 0.3% a month. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, obviously, it's leverage, so it's a lot more risky, but it pays a dividend. So there you go. Bitcoin right here, trying to crack 68. Let's see if we can get 22% annual. Yeah, it's a 22% annual. Now, obviously, it's a lot more risky, but 22% annual on Bitcoin. Where's Snowflake today? Snowflake 130. That's up a little bit. Robin at 2190. Rocket Lab 543. And then Palantir 27.9. Palantir is still holding 27, folks. We are still holding $27. And hopefully 27 can be sustained as well. Is Robin a buy from here? I think so. I mean, I think it's 30 end of the year, at least 25, in my opinion. It depends on the market not collapsing. You know what's interesting? Meet Kevin sold a lot of stuff yesterday. He didn't sell Robinhood, and he bought Robinhood a couple weeks ago. So he sold Palantir, Amazon. He sold a ton of stuff, but he didn't sell Robinhood, which I thought was why would you not sell Robinhood? If you think the market's about to crash, but he didn't. So I don't know. That was weird. So he still has some. Maybe he sold a little bit of it, but he still has some Robinhood as well. 27.11 on Palantir. Apple 217. Apple has a red candle right there, but it's basically flat on the day. KRE is up 1%, and then where small caps are we still up 2%? 1.75. I mean, they are outperforming. They are officially outperforming, which is exciting, dude. It's very exciting to see that play out. Dell 114. That's up a little bit. Oracle 138. They're gonna have earnings in a couple weeks. That's gonna be important. Coca-Cola. What's the name? Warren Buffett sold another $890 million worth of Bank of America yesterday as well. So he's been unloading Bank of America, taking some profits there. But he did sell, and then Bank of America also issued a $25 billion buyback. So we've got that there as well. All right, let's hear from the professor, Jeremy Siegel, what he thinks is going on with the market and where the Fed should go when it comes to cutting. Jose, thank you for the 55 memberships, Jose. Shout out to Jose, friend of the channel. I think he was on this week, and we'll have him on next week again to talk everything that's in the stock market. Shout out to you, Jose. Thank you for the gifted 5 memberships. If you want to claim a membership, you just click that, and it gives you a free membership for the month of $5 a month to the channel. Thank you, Jose. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. All right, so here is the professor. Let's see what he has to say.
It's right now to talk markets ahead of the Fed's favored PCE inflation numbers that we get in just over an hour's time is Jeremy Siegel. He is Professor Emeritus of Finance at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business. He's also the chief economist at Wisdom Tree. And Jeremy, what are you anticipating? What are you expecting from this number today?
I actually expect that the year over year is going to be a little hotter than in expectations. And I'll tell you, because we already got the first quarter PCE consumption. So if you kind of work backward from the data we got yesterday, they did revise it upward. It will be a little bit hotter. However, forward looking, I think inflation looks very, very good. The month over month numbers might be on target. We might be 1/10 higher on the other. So I don't think it changes the narrative at all that, Jay Powell's going to tee up a rate cut for the September meeting after this next one.
Yeah, next week when the Fed meets again, even if it's hotter, you don't think that will make his rhetoric or what he says any more hawkish?
No, I don't. I actually don't think so, because again, forward-looking numbers. I mean, we really take a look at commodity prices. Even oil prices have come down. Those are very sensitive prices. So what? Home prices, rental prices. We're beginning to get the rental price index, which we know is lagged in the official data. We're beginning to see that really come in at a much lower rate. So, and that's all great news. So I think that won't change the narrative. Now, he's not going to promise anything. Of course, he said, if trends continue on the direction that we see, we would be amenable to easing financial conditions at our next meeting. And certainly he's not even going to commit how much it's going to be. But I think that's definitely what's going to be the setup next week. And
you think the Fed should be cutting right now?
I mean, if it were up to me, looking forward, they should be. I mean, I think ultimately the Fed funds rate should be 3.5 to 4. Now, I'm not saying get there tomorrow or get there by the end of the year, but we're at 5.33 now. So we're about 200 basis points, almost 200 basis points above that neutral rate, which actually the Fed actually thinks the neutral rate is even lower than that. I think it's a bit higher, but I think we should really be moving towards that direction when we look at the trends in the economy. I mean, GDP is holding up, but at a moderate rate. So the labor market is no longer a tightness that they have to be concerned about. And basically it's forward inflation. And that looks very, very good to me coming from the data that I research.
Let's take a look at what we've seen in the markets. There have been some big rotations over the last.
All right. So you got the professor's arguments. He said he would cut today if he was running the Fed. Well, Jerome probably won't, but September, hopefully we do get that cut. We got to bring someone on who hasn't been on in a while, even though I saw him last week to get his thoughts on the markets. I'm sure people are going to be happy to see this guy. What's up, baby?
What's up, my man? How you doing? Could you hear me okay?
Yep, you're great. You're awesome.
Cool. What's up, everybody? Hello, chat.
So this is Adam. I'm sure you guys all know him already. Adam Bergman. Adam, well, how much time you got? Like 10 minutes with me? You can spend 10 minutes?
Bro, and I spend as long as the inspector doesn't come. I'm supposed to be here between 8 and 12 o'clock. When they come, it's always 11:59. They come and make you wait for 4 hours like an asshole. And they show up the last minute. So until he comes, I'm chilling.
So he's inspecting your property?
Yeah, it's one of my clients, actually. And we have a violation that I need to remove from like 2007 to get the final certificate of occupancy. So I'm just waiting.
Okay, so lot to ask you about, but I think we'll start off with what you love, which is Bitcoin. We got the conference this week running at 68,000. What do you think we have end the year on Bitcoin?
Sure. I'm thinking we're still going to get to 100,000 this year, in my opinion. I'm really waiting for a 80,000 just to take some profits off the table for me personally. You know my situation. And then I'm still going to have a large position waiting until next summer for me personally. What do you think?
I think you're right on that. I think the catalyst this weekend obviously is Trump talking. And if Trump talks in the way that he needs to talk and says some certain things, then hopefully, Bitcoin does well. But I agree with you. How has it been over the past couple of months holding assets that are tied to Bitcoin? because obviously it's been a whirlwind of emotions.
Dude, it's so crazy. A whirlwind of emotions. It's just absolutely freaking insane. I posted yesterday in the comments like, by the way, guys, I'm not trying to be douchey. It's just there's a lot of sun here, so that's why I'm wearing the glasses. So apologize for that. Um, it's such a whirlwind. Yesterday, like, remember I texted in the chat, I'm down 500,000, and it was like literally before 10, and then I ended up the day like down like I don't know, maybe like 100K or something like that. At some point, it went green, and then you have today, and the amount of conviction. I mean, small money is easier. The more money, like when it's really life changing, it's hard to have that conviction. I mean, you have a plan, and everybody, it's like everybody has a plan until they get into a fight and get punched in the face. Everybody has a plan until the plan comes to fruition or it's going, and all of a sudden your money is not smaller money. It keeps growing, 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 and you're like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do here? But you hold on, you have conviction, and you talk to people like you and other people, and you have a support group.
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing about us. We know a lot of people that we can talk to try to get some more analysis on everything going on. Avacar, thank you for the $20 super chat. Really appreciate it. Thank you for that super chat. Okay, talk to me about Palantir. We got Q2 earnings coming up. Do you think it's run up too much? You think it's overvalued? What's happening with Palantir?
Palantir is the craziest thing ever. I don't check the price of Palantir almost. Like I used to check it all the time, and now I don't really care in a good way. I know it's going to go up and to the right over a long period of time. And what I do is I sell options on them. It's funny. Some people in the community, when Palantir was like 28.50, I think on Twitter, they're like, "Oh, you guys are collecting options." I think it was the Beacon dude, if I'm not mistaken. Beacon. I don't know. They're like, where are you guys at right now? And it's like, dude, you could still collect options when it's going up. When it's going down, you're collecting option premiums. You're collecting premiums all the freaking time. I mean, I'm super happy with Palantir. It's going in the right direction. We're really vindicated. And selfishly, I still own a bunch of shares, but I would like to get to a lot more shares. So if it's going to go down and the timing is right, I would love to pick up some more shares closer to the 20 range. But if it goes to 30, I'll be happy too. I think fair value right now, that magnet is around, that 25, 26 range. And we got to see what's going to happen in earnings, right? But we're doing great.
Yeah, I think it's been a fun trajectory, right? Because obviously we were covering this thing when it was $6, and now things have changed, and the whole world is starting to care. It's not just the select people on YouTube, like CNBC, like Dan Ives. People give a fuck about Palantir.
Dude, yeah. The best thing is Chris cannot get this shit right. He loses the bet. The best thing is he loses the bet. He's scared to make a second bet, guys. I wanted to make a second bet with him, by the way. $1,000 by the end of the year. Over or under. Palantir is above $26. He gives me $1,000. If it's under 26, I give him $1,000. He doesn't want to take that bet. Then he has this so-called short, which is not really a short. He gets out of it. Palantir drops. Bro, he would have made a good amount of money, and he could have gotten out of his short and be profitable. But now he took a loss on that. He took a loss on the bet. He took a loss on the gains of Palantir. His beloved stock Snowflake absolutely sucks. And now it's like Databricks and Snowflake are fighting for viable, number two, and Palantir is like the clear winner in my personal opinion, and it's absolutely awesome. Can I give a shout out to Amit, bro? This guy has no chill. The second he meets public, he's like full YouTuber, full content. Like he's a talker. He's so personable. Like he really is so cool around the public, right? Really, really interesting. Everything's like about content. Super real, super cool. But it was nice. We met up with Chris and met up with Fudd Tucker.
Yeah, basically we got out of the restaurant and we asked a lady to take a picture of us, and she turned out to be a much more interesting lady than we thought she was. Until she said something that made her not as interesting. So it was we were talking to her for like 30 minutes, right? It was
for sure.
Yo,
fun. What do you think? Let me ask you a question. How, I mean, I know the answer for the audience. How has your whole conception of options selling, cash secured puts, spreads, corporate calls, condors, whatever, how has your concept changed now that you're doing it on a more consistent basis, making plays and doing it with TJ?
I mean, dude, it's really changed my life. It's just it's that its core, and it's really you to thank for that. Because I remember the day I realized I really want to get into it, I called you up. I think I called you right after the market closed. It was like 5 p.m. And I was like, "Yo, can you actually explain what selling a put means?" And like, you talked to me for 3 hours, and then I was like, "Oh, this I don't know why everyone doesn't do this. Like, I don't understand why if you can effectively risk mitigate and manage, this is the way you should be investing. Because if you're going to buy something, you might as well get paid to buy it." And so it's changed my life. Now I'm waiting on hopefully having a decent sum of capital, hopefully by the end of this year, if things work out, to do it in a more aggressive way. But yeah, I think it's very effective, and I think it's now if we get a bear market in 2025, obviously it's going to suck, but the whole market's going to suck. Any strategy you have is going to suck, other than buying puts. So we'll see what happens, but I think it makes a lot of sense.
I think that's the bright side. Even if the market is going down and you have some powder on the side, you could make a killing on cash secured puts, right? It's vice versa. There's many different strategies of doing it. So for me personally, right now, and I've been doing this to build my. When I'm going to say Bitcoin, I mean Bitcoin proxy. So anything Bitcoin related. So I've been building out my Bitcoin position, and what I do is I sell premiums. Like I sold premiums on BitX the other day. I took that premium. I bought more, CLSK, for example. I then have 100 shares of CLSK. I'll sell a premium on that. I'll take that and buy more shares, so on and so forth, to try to build a position. Once I'm going to get rid of a lot of these proxies, then I'm going to use this to build my Palantir position. And like I was doing the math, and you can make a good 1.2% on Palantir just doing cash secured puts, pretty much out of the money, like $22 strikes, 1.2%, and it's pretty good if you want to buy in the dip, right? I mean, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, because you would love to buy Palantir at 22 if you got assigned, right? So
that's the goal for me. Like, that's my magic number of where I'll feel comfortable, regardless of what happens. If it goes down, I'll be fine with that. But I would like to go back at 22, because I think 22 is a very close to. So the magnet for me used to be 20. I raised it to 22. By magnet, I mean that it's like that's a attracting price. I think that actually moved up recently until we got to see what's going to happen with earnings. But I would love to get a lot more shares at 22, and I'm just going to keep selling cash secured puts, collecting my 1.2% until that happens.
So let's say this year works out for you and your plays go the right way, and you have the capital you need that you wanted from the beginning of the year. What is the plan after that? Like, what is the investment strategy plan after that?
The investment strategy plan is I wanna have $1 million in Palantir. I have a significant position right now, several hundred grand, but I want to get to $1 million at least, maybe a little bit north of $1 million. And I would like to have about $250,000 in Tesla. I really want to have 1,000 shares of Tesla so that I could do wheeling on that. And besides for that, I'm just going to do SPYs, QQQ, very, very safe. Not to say Palantir and Tesla is not safe, but you guys know what I mean. Like, very, very safe, boring stocks. And there can be a Google, a Meta, an Amazon. And I'm just going to be collecting premium, selling those, because as your portfolio grows, the premiums are, it's extremely life-changing. I mean, it's literally retirement. I was retired before.
When you told me how much money you were making like a week on premiums, it's just like, what? It's just insane. And most people just don't know that. You and me, we laugh about it because people don't do the research, or they don't try to learn, so they think it's a scam. And like, dude, we're not selling like NFTs. Like, this is like just derivatives in the markets. That's it.
Think about it as, I mean, there's many ways to play it. And again, and me and Alma talk about this all the time. My style and TJ's is different and the same, but different. Like, we have a different way of viewing it. But for me, it's like a synthetic dividend, which TJ says all the time, that word too, where you're just, it really is real estate. You call stocks real estate, and you're able to rent on that. And there's a lot of ways to make money. The way I feel like at 30 years old, you should be taking risks, but closer to 40, your risks should start alleviating, going down. And at 40 years old, you either made it or you didn't. But I personally don't think you should be taking risks at 40. I'm going to be 42 in February, this coming year. And this last Bitcoin plays this is my last risk. And, if I didn't have a family, I wouldn't even need to do these plays. But because I have a family and I want to live comfortably, I want to make these plays. And and selling options is just such a clean way of essentially retiring if you have enough of a portfolio, which is great. And think about it, you retire wealthy, not rich, but wealthy. And Henry was talking about it. You know, Henry is what's his channel's name? You know,
Invest with
Henry.
Henry.
He does Invest with Henry. He's like the biggest wheel channel, and he says, he's like, you know, wealth is, it's not how much money you have, it's having enough money to enjoy yourself, do whatever you want, travel, not have to work, and relatively passive income. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So you could have less money and still be wealthy, as opposed to somebody who has much more money than you, but they're rich, not wealthy. Because at the end, wealth is allowing you to do whatever you'd like to do
Yeah, if
in
you have
style.
$2 million in Thailand, I mean, yeah, that's like $20 million, right? Like you're living nice.
Yeah, you're living nice. So as long as your lifestyle is covered, whatever that lifestyle might be, you know, everybody has different types of lifestyles. I would like to live nice, whatever that means for anybody. I would like to live comfortably and do a lot of good things and go to the nice restaurants that we go to every night. You know what I mean? And if you can afford that selling options, why take the risk if you already won in life? Now, for anybody that can't do that,
I think you got a call coming in or something.
so yeah, I'm sorry. It's very hard in the car.
Yeah, you're good.
If you could build up towards that point, that's great. But what I tell people is like this, you know, if you have even like 100 grand, which is a very attainable number, you can significantly supplement your regular income to give yourself that edge of enjoying your life, right? Like people are like, oh, I make 2-3% a month, 4% a month. What I'm saying is you can easily make easy make about 1.5% a month. This is super easy, like blindfolded.
Yeah, 1% a month is 1% a month is not promising too much. Like that should be
not at all. But I really do believe you can get to 1.5% realistically, and I've been doing by far more. But if you want to take away the risk, 1.5%, that's 15%. 100 grand gets you an extra $15,000. Now, even if your salary every single year is a comfortable salary of, let's say, 150 grand, let's call 150 grand the comfortable salary, that most people would be like, hey, that's a lot of money. That's not bad, right? Think about that. You're making 150 grand. You're using 100 grand to make an additional 10%. So you just gave yourself a bonus in life of 10% of your salary, right? Now, a lot of people, they make 100 grand or less than 100. I don't know everyone's situation. Think about it. If you make 100 grand, now you're making 115 grand. And it's significant. It's a lot of money. Who doesn't want that extra money? And I think saving up 100 grand is an extremely attainable goal, especially if you have no family, have no, real expenses. Just save up and stop partying. And that's kind of what me and you talk about all the time, right? And then you enjoy your life.
Yeah, and that money, it compounds to help you make more money. So if you make an extra $1,500 a month on options, you can use that $1,500 to then make that extra 1%. And the S&P returns 8% on average. So if you make 15% a year, you beat the S&P by double if you do 1.5 per month, which is not horrible,
Yeah, and if you could sell options on S&P, which I know it's expensive because you need at least 100 shares, dude, you can amplify those returns significantly. It's really, really good. I mean, I don't see a downfall with this, especially if you know how to roll. And I show Ahmed, guys. Ahmed is my witness. I'll roll shit like 3 years out. I got out of my Tesla position, right? Thank God. And as long as you know how to roll and discipline, bro, you're like 90-something% in your favor to win. Like, really, sure, you could get absolutely obliterated if the market drops, if there's some kind of crazy event, sure. But 90+%, it's in your favor.
And the reason for that is because you're not the gambler, you're the casino. If you're buying the options, 90% chance you're going to lose because you don't know if the stock's going to go up. But if you're selling it, more chances than not, it stays flat or goes slightly up or slightly down. But that means, you don't have a massive loss.
Sure. Like my Palantir, right? I rolled my Palantir for $28, which was like 2 weeks ago. They hit $28. I rolled it to January for 39 and 38, half my contracts. And if I need to roll it again, I will. But eventually things go down. People think they get this euphoria. And look, Palantir is at $27, right? Right now, $27.50, whatever it is. There's always opportunities for the market to pull back, even if briefly, to get you out of your options, right? So I think it's phenomenal. What do you think about Hood?
I think Hood. I think we're gonna. I think this. We're falling just because the market took a little pullback. I think Hood's gonna be fine. I think after earnings, we're good. As long as the market holds up, then Robinhood's gonna be good end of the year. I was gonna ask you this question: is the money you're making now from selling options, like, has that replaced most of your other income sources?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like what I'm doing right now is essentially it became more of a, I don't want to say hobby, but why not take the extra money? It gives me something to do. It's fun. And as opposed to like me and you spoke in the beginning of the year, and I was like, no, I'm getting back into this business at the end of last year and the beginning of this year. So last year I was able to make over 6 figures on this. I don't know the exact amount, but it was over 100K. It was not like 200-300K, right? But over 100K significantly. And I was doing it for partial of the year. I already made multiple hundreds of Ks the first 6 months of this year, right?
Wow.
The first half of the year, I already made, I would like to say that I probably made 200K at least. I don't track everything like TJ does. I will be tracking it next year, but it's enough to just pay bills. And what I do is the first half of the year I was collecting it. The second half I put it away into Robinhood, collect my 5.5% because they up me to 5.5% interest. And then I'm going to use that money to pay off my taxes for the first half of the year. And that's the goal, but it's nearly enough right now. I need a little bit more to live the way that I would like to, like to take my families to vacations and things like that and give them the best possible life that I can. I don't need shit, but I want to give my kids everything that they deserve, want, and more. And I will have it soon. You know, I'm going to take money off the table, and hopefully, God willing, this Bitcoin's going to pop, and then that's it. My whole retirement, my whole income is going to be from managing my own equity. Yeah.
You're working in private equity, bro. You're managing your own equity.
Yo, it's so crazy when you said that, right? You work in your own private equity, and there's so many ways with Robinhood. Thank God, like Robinhood's so great. You can borrow money, you can pay back money, you could become a hard money lender for people in real estate where you're collecting interest on the money that you're taking out for 6.5%, and you're renting it for. Right now, hard money loans, all day you're getting 12% on your money, all day, and you probably make 1% in the front side. And usually the money's for like a year. You get paid back in a year. So Robinhood's giving it to you at 6%. You're giving it out at 12%. Plus, you could collect an extra 1% of the deal, right? It comes out significant. So there's so many ways for you to be your own little bank, which is something that we've been talking about that people are not realizing. This whole mindset of working 9 to 5 for somebody is great, but I think you should strive to be able to make extra income on the sides so that you can broaden your horizons and essentially get financial freedom.
Yeah, I think that's the other reason option selling is so important to me. To get financial freedom, it's either you have a really big salary and you're able to, make some money after the taxes, or you have equity in something. And if you have equity in stocks and you hold it long forever, like that's a way to get financial freedom. You just have to hold it long. But to start producing cash flow, which is what I like from selling options, with the money you have, that, after a couple of years, when it compounds, you are starting to get to the point where you might not be financially free, but you're getting a lot more comfortable than you were before. And anyone can learn it. And it's on YouTube. You don't need
Dude, a couple books. I have a couple of people in my circle that I was showing this to, and it was almost like they didn't believe me.
That's Chad.
Yo, Chad, what's up, my man? Yo, Chad was always really, really nice to me when I was still making content. I really appreciate him. And he's been doing so much for the community, bro. So much for the community. The entire Palantir community is just so powerful, definitely a lot of personalities, but powerful. And I think one of the strongest things about Palantir community is the community itself, but in turn, they're fuel to the fire. And Chad and his colleagues,
Iliano,
are all of them, right? They're great. They put the fuel back for the community. It's almost like the community is feeding the Palantir employees, and the Palantir employees is feeding the community. And you have this freaking perfect, like Adugan happening right now. And it's really, really cool. And not too many other communities are doing that. Like, I think SoFi, Anthony Noto. No.
Yeah, SoFi, they're not really interacting with their community that much.
They
right?
should.
They
bro,
should.
He's so messing this shit up. It's unbelievable. unbelievable what an opportunity he has, because SoFi arguably is the third strongest community in finance right now. I honestly think it's Palantir above Tesla right now, but let's call Palantir Tesla 1 and 2. Let's just make that for argument. But SoFi has such a strong community, and nobody gives a fuck. Like, it's so crazy.
Well, you got to have
right?
someone who's willing to be an ambassador like Chad is. And dude, Chad's getting like up there. Like he's getting some DMs from people that are running some very big companies that want to meet with him because they see his tweets about Palantir and they're interested. You know, they may not be using Palantir in their companies, but they're running some pretty multi-billion-dollar companies. And it's just you put yourself out there, more people want to talk to you, you know?
It's absolutely freaking great, bro. It's absolutely freaking great. And the community loves Palantir heads, and Palantir heads love the community. And I'm sure they love the community for a long time before they, I don't want to say reached out, but so to speak, reached out, right? Or became more engaged. It's great. And everybody loves it. And now they're sending out like gear to people and stuff. Yo, it's so, I don't want to say such minimal effort, but it doesn't take a lot to put a smile on someone's face. And it doesn't take a lot for people to start chatting and talking and pushing. I saw signed. Who signed it?
Carp signed it. Yeah, he signed it. But it's like, it doesn't take a lot to, like, for Carp, it takes 2 seconds to sign a hat. But the fact that he actually cares about signing it and cares about, you know, starting this merch movement, it means the world to us, you know? So it means a lot.
The world, bro, the world. It's so cool.
Do you think I'm selling my Palantir after? Like, no one's selling their, you know, it's just like, in general, it's like, no, you're here forever, bro. It's like,
dude, when me and Ahmed speak, and I told him my plan for the longest time, I say the only risky, and I don't want to say Palantir is the risky or not risky, but you guys know what I mean. The only risky thing that I want to do is have a $1 million Palantir portfolio. Other than having like my SPY, QQQ, like I don't want to be risk on at all, except for Palantir, because I think Palantir is a generational opportunity. In my mind, I don't think it's going to fall. But I'm willing to take the risk because I do believe that it can be, and I believe it will be, in my opinion, a Microsoft, a Google, an Amazon. Maybe not in 2 years, 5 years, but it will be eventually, in my opinion. I think it's super duper important. And I think also with an administration change, if it happens, and not to get political, it's going to be super good for Palantir in the future. That's my personal opinion. So things are going to be looking up for sure.
all right. Is your inspector?
No, I have the mirrors. So I have the mirrors. I'm in Long Island City right now. If anybody knows this area in New York, it's like I don't know. It's kind of like a Williamsburg in Queens, essentially. So I'm looking over here and I have a mirror here. I have a mirror there, and I want to make sure that I don't miss them because they're crazy. These inspectors are the worst. You know, they'll make you wait for 4 hours before it used to be an 8-hour window. So they cut it to 4 hours, half of the day. And if you go to take a piss somewhere or go to poop somewhere and it's been like 5 minutes, that's when they come and they're like, you weren't there. And I'm like, bro, I'm here all day. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Nope. And then they'll make you wait. And I waited 6 months for this appointment.
If someone had 500 grand, would you advise them to sell options or to get into real estate? Because you're doing a lot of work.
I'm not gonna,
waiting for this inspector and shit. Like,
dude, I'll tell you the truth. I'm getting rid of all my real estate. I'm in deals right now. I had a deal that just fell through, which is another reason why I hate real estate. I am not going to hold no more real estate except for 1 or 2 pieces of property, probably single family homes, maybe one for me and one for my vacation home that I'll give to my kids later. I'm not doing real estate no more, bro. It does not pay. I'm taking the money and I'm putting it in a REIT. And I'll rather collect my dividends, and it's not going to be tax incentivized, but I don't have to deal with anything. Real estate is one of the worst businesses unless you're a big firm. If you're a big firm, you're good because you have like employees that deal with all these headaches, specialized employees, attorneys, management companies, so on and so forth. But if you're on the ground and you're a small mom and pops, it could be like 10 units. You could still own 10 properties, not 10 single families. You could own like 20, 30 apartments, right, within your complexes, and you're still mom and pop.
Sorry. There you go. You're good.
So difficult. It's so difficult, and personally, I would not be buying real estate anymore. Like, I'm literally selling my properties right now. Like, I had a deal that fell through last week. Signed contract deposit. Guy backs out of the deal. Now, can't get a mortgage, he says. It doesn't matter if you let him back out or not. You're just wasting 2 months and he's going to find a way to back out anyways. It's the worst. So my answer is only stock market for investments for me personally. And that includes crypto, anything there. Like I like tokenization or stock market of an asset right now for me personally.
Yeah, the thing is with real estate, it's just like it's easier than stocks, I think, because theoretically you buy a house and then as long as you maintain it, it goes up in value over time. Stock market's harder, but there's so much more work to like maintaining the real estate that if you understand stocks, I feel like you can get, like if you're good at stocks, 2% return a month, that's 24% a year. Real estate doesn't appreciate at 24% a year. So it's
you're gonna get like a normal real estate deal. I don't care what anyone's gonna tell me right now. A normal real estate deal, if you're doing ground up construction in New York City, I'm talking about like big developments, like 6-story, 7-story buildings. All my rentals have adult children living in them. The worst financial as a pet. Yeah. Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. It's the worst. So the ground up construction, you invest your money, the returns is projected 30% a year. The project takes roughly 2.5 years from the approval process, the building process, let's say 2.5, 3 years. So you're supposed to make around 90% of your money. Bro,
Right.
That's not happening. People have not been making that in New York for a very, very
Wait, hold
long
on. You're
time.
saying you're supposed to make 90% on your money in 2 years, theoretically, on real estate.
The return on the real estate is supposed to be, you're supposed to be making 30% on your investment for ground up. That's the way it used to be for a while. So when the project is done, once you refinance and you pull your money out, people were making close to doubling their money.
Okay.
That's the way real estate used to be, like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. Well, because of all the fines, because of all the violations and things like that, a couple of years ago, that number started to go down. And right now, I don't think people are making 30%. I'm talking about the investors, not the actual developers. The developers, they're going to make bank all the time because developers are putting up some of their money. Most of the money is coming out from outside sources. The outside sources I'm talking about, not the actual developer that's building, because there's a lot of ways to make money. So think about it. If you're making, bro, some of them are not even making like 10% a year and they're investing their money. And we're talking about you're putting up, millions of dollars. In my opinion, real estate, it's not it anymore with all the violations and all of the and regulations and all of the red tape. And in New York, bro, being a landlord is the worst. You cannot kick somebody out. Like minimum a year. Look, it's atrocious. Not to mention, if you want to make money and you're a small mom and pops like me, you need to be buying in the hood, not the best areas. Be prepared. People are going to be pulling out knives on you. People are going to be pulling out pew-pews on you.
Have you had that? People put out a knife on you before, or a gun, or anything?
Yeah, gone several times.
Really?
It's very
You've
scary.
been held up at gunpoint?
So, I mean, not held up. They're not trying to rob me, but yeah.
Why? They were just mad at you or something, or like?
They weren't mad at me, but there's vagrants that chill on your properties, and what they do is you never buy a property across the street of a bodega. The bodega is usually going to be a place where they're trading in illegal things.
Yeah.
What happens is if you have a property, especially corner property, and you have a gate, people will run into your property because then when the cops come, they don't go into your private property. So they'll sit on your stoop. Now, these same people that sit on your stoop, what happens is they start getting comfortable and they end up sitting on the stoop and they're just like, well, we're just going to keep sitting here. There's no reason to run in and out. Now, your property is an extension of the bodega now. And there's a lot of illegal activities that's happening. So when you confront people that there's illegal activities, like, bro, what are you doing over here? There's money involved. People are, right? I'm trying to give people a conception of what's happening and to, understand the situation. And it's tough when you're younger and you have no family. It was different. I'm not some tough guy or something, but it's different. When you have a family and you're getting older, bro, I don't want to deal with none of this shit, bro. I don't want to deal with it. And you're not dealing with business people. You're dealing with people that, bro, they give you headaches. It's just a consistent headache. And you're fighting so hard to make your money.
Whereas in the stock market, I can just sell some puts on Robin. It's like it's a no-brainer to me, dude. Why would I go through all that pain?
It's
when I
a
can do
no-brainer. And there's no liquidity. Like to sell a property, you got to
Yeah.
sign contract. Bro, 5 weeks. I told the people you're not going to get a mortgage. You're not going to get a mortgage. They want to put 20% down, 80%. You're not getting a mortgage on a commercial property, 80%. It's not a conventional mortgage. They will give you the banks usually 65 to 70% on a commercial property, multi-unit commercial property, small rises like 5 units and less. No, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. We're going to say that we're living in one of the apartments. It's for us, blah, blah, blah. What happens? They don't end up getting the mortgage. 5 weeks wasted, deal gone. But I wasted 5 weeks. So there's no liquidity. So now I'm looking for the next buyer right now, right? There is no liquidity in real estate. It's people think there is, but it's not. It's sick, terrible.
No, you're right.
Never done real estate.
We made 30% selling puts on BidX, right? Which is it expires in January. That's 5% a month. Now we don't always get those types of deals. That was a very specific deal, and you called me that day, and you're like, "Look, we got to look at this." But if you could still get even half of that, 2.5% a month, without having to get robbed or have a gun in your face, I mean, like that's just it's a different world, you know. But you got to understand the markets. You got to do the research. But if you like doing the research about the markets, then it's fun.
Dude, the easiest play, yeah, there's some safe plays. When SoFi was going down, and if SoFi hit like low sixes, 615, 610, something like this, one of the best plays was I did a $7 strike, $7 January play. But bro, you could have done a 550 January play on SoFi. So you're making 10% of your money, right? Because you're putting up 100 shares times 550, $550. And for this, you're collecting $55. They were paying you. Dude, think about it. 10% in 6 months. And SoFi at 550 is a pretty safe bet, bro.
But you have to know about SoFi. You have to know about the market to know that it's a safe bet, right? That requires the research.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. I mean, there's just it's absolutely freaking bonkers, but there's so many deals out there if you follow the companies. So what I suggest to people is what I do: have 5-6 companies that you follow and make it simple. I just got, bro. I didn't know either. Somebody told me this on Twitter, and I was just like, "There's no way." They actually at Jesse Dow, and I'm like, hold on a second. I know I got a dividend, but I thought it was like fake. I saw it a while ago, and I'm just like, I don't pay attention because it's not a huge amount of my portfolio. And then I showed Amit yesterday. I'm like, dude, I just made $1,400 for the month. That's monthly. And to understand my position, I have 2,100 shares. So you guys can do the math. On 2,100 shares, I made $1,400 for the month. And this was a low dividend. They paid like 60 something cents per share. The last 2 dividends was 90 cents a share, right? And I'm just like, wow, that's pretty crazy.
Again, this is on a leverage fund. It's a little bit more risky of an asset, but the point is, if you can manage your risk and understand it, there's ways to find opportunities. Chat says the worst renter he ever had was a doctor.
No,
that's surprising, right? A doctor, dude. You're supposed to like.
Yeah. Well, they pieces of shit, bro. Pieces of shit. The thing is, you have 2 types of renters. So you have the hood, but not the hood is not much better either. Like Chad said, there's a lot of people that are freaking mad liberal, mad Karens. They all know the laws, and they bust your balls, and it's so effed up because you try to do the right thing as a landlord, and you get absolutely screwed. Real estate is only good in red states. Like Florida, I can kick somebody out in a month. I would do in Florida. I would do flips where I build and flip them right now. But I will never in my life rent in New York again. Never.
That's fair, dude. Because I'm thinking about it too. I'm just like, I don't like real estate as an idea. And my dad, he made his money off real estate, but I'm just like a different generation from my dad. And I see what the stock market can do.
The only real estate you should be doing eventually when you do it is you should get your own personal property. You should get it as a duplex, which is you have a little unit downstairs. So let's say you get a 3-family house over, 3-bedroom house over a 1-bedroom. You rent you rent the single family one bedroom, and they're going to offset your mortgage, bro, by more than 50%. Like you're going to be paying, this 1-bedroom unit is going to pay more than 50% of your mortgage. And then you can use that as lines of credit and assets. So I believe everybody should own a home, my personal opinion, and maybe like a vacation home or a summer home if you can afford it. And that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, it dropped.
Yeah, Bitcoin. The whole market's dropping a little bit, guys. Not really, but we are seeing a little bit of red candles, and makes sense an hour in. We'll see where it happens at 12 p.m.
I hate Bitcoin, man. It's such a love hate, dude. It's such a love hate relationship. It's so you're literally making fortunes every day or losing a fortune every day, and you're just like, bro, these swings are so. It's so and honestly, like my psychologist, dude, I'll call him and I'll complain, or also sometimes I don't even say hi. We're just gonna like, I'm a you know what just happened, blah blah blah. And thank God somebody listens to me, because it's hard to speak when nobody knows what you're talking about. But it's so love hate, and I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this shit no much longer, bro.
Well, but also you're saying that like when you're in your 20s, you can handle some of that risk. When you're getting into 40s, you just don't want to deal with that on a daily basis. That mental,
So
pain.
yes, the way that I feel is this: when you're in your 20s, you can recover from anything. Like, you can literally go bankrupt and recover, right? Bankrupt before 25, recovered by 30. You're supposed to be hustling like crazy. The last thing you should be doing at 20 years old is worrying, in my opinion, for a family, or worrying to go party, or worrying about any of that dumb shit. All you should be doing is hustling and making money, taking as much risk as possible. By 30, it's not as easy to recover anymore, because now you're looking for a family, and your risk should be a little bit less, because you can't recover. But by 40, if you didn't make it by 40, dude, you did something wrong in your 20s and your 30s. I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm trying to be honest with people. And at 40, if you made it, you should not take any risks, because you will not recover. In general, it's very hard to at that time, because you're older and you have other responsibilities. That's my view in life, my personal view.
And my thing is, if you're 40 and you haven't like made it, but you have some money, let's call it like a couple $100K or $100K, you can start selling options. And that's my
that's making it. Right? Yeah, well, that for me, that's what I mean, making it, right? So making it means different things for a lot of different people. By making it, I mean that you can live a comfortable life and be able to supplement your main income with a significant amount of side income. So whatever you're making, if you can make yourself an extra 10, 15, 20% on top of that through other means, passive, relatively passive, I think you did make it, because most people just want a house, they want a car, they want their 1 or 2 vacations a year, right?
Basically, you're saying if you're 40 and you have money to make something passively, whether it's selling options or real estate, you are making it, because most people don't even have that, is what you're saying. Yeah, I see your point.
Correct. Because most people end up, and I'm not trying to knock anybody, but a lot of people, especially in big cities, end up living with a roommate until their 40s, right? And they never end up owning a piece of property. They're gonna move out. They're gonna rent. That's not making it. That's you having somebody else make it, and you're paying for their making it, their lifestyle. Now, if you're working at a job and you're making a decent income, but you're able to supplement it, so now your decent income becomes a good income, and now you can buy yourself the luxuries of life, whatever that is, whether that is a vacation, whether that is going out to eat, in nice restaurants, whether that's buying yourself a watch. It's all different. Maybe you want to go hiking for the weekend. Maybe you want to go play some poker in Atlantic City or Vegas, or being able to do these things in life, because a lot of people can't do that without accruing debt. So you don't want to have debt.
Yeah, and I think what makes people different that are in this chat and that are interested in the stock market is that to buy your first property, to invest in this market, to own any assets, you have to have personal accountability, right? Like you cannot just be complaining about your boss all day. You have to have your own balls to get up and like do it yourself, right? And that creates the framework for financial freedom. But if you've never had that your whole life, then it will be paycheck to paycheck for a long time.
Bro, and 100%. And a lot of people, they waste, or let not say waste, they exert so much energy about complaining and bitching. And in today's society, it's all about complaining and bitching about everything. Yo, stop complaining, stop bitching, go change your life. Right? It's as simple as that. You complaining that somebody you're working for is making a lot of money off of your back, change it. Do something different. Right? Everybody likes to complain, everybody likes to bitch. Very few people like to, lace up their shoes and go do something about it. That's why most of the people here are doing something about it, right? And everybody starts from different beginnings and end up in different places. As long as you do your best in between, I think you can have no regrets in life. But
I think if you're
yeah,
even consuming stock market content, you are on the journey of like starting to think differently.
100%.
Like because it's just so important to think about it from a different perspective. And it's hard to put in work, dude. It's hard every day to put in real work on something, whether it's the markets, building a brand, real estate. But it's so rewarding at the end, dude. There's nothing else. Like, what do you want to do when you're dead? You don't want to be when you're about to die. You don't want to be thinking, oh well, I didn't really try.
Yeah, you don't want that. You also want to have like life experiences and not to be morbid, but once you get older, you want to pass something on to your next generation, and you want them to remember you, but you're kind of instilling that they do remember you because whatever you're instilling in them and they use whatever you taught them, they'll always remember you. Be like, oh, my dad taught me that, or my uncle taught me that, or my friend taught me that, right? And they'll always remember you even more so than just remembering you. Yeah, I think it's super important.
How often do you think of death?
How often do I think of death?
Because when I was in college, I thought of it a lot. And I think it was good to think about it at that time. I had a little bit of existential crisis, but now I don't think about it at all because I'm like busy working all day. Like I don't think too much more about philosophical shit because I'm working all day, So it's like hard for me to take a moment and pause and think about life, which I think is
I don't
important.
really, yeah, I don't really think about it too much, to be honest. If I thought about it like, I was having a conversation with somebody, and I don't really like think about it like that, but I'm like, if I'm able to at least set my kids up, teach them how to make money financially stable, set up a trust for them to make sure that they're, set and being able to be financially sound, not spoil them. I think I would be able to pass a happy person, regardless of what age I pass, right? Hopefully I live here for a very long time. But my goal in life, I would I would pass with a smile on my face if I knew that I'm passing on a financial freedom to my children and my other loved ones. I would pass a happy person. I wouldn't have any regrets in life because I knew that I accomplished something and I'm good.
Yeah, I think having a legacy is important, passing it down is important, but I think also death is the thing that like motivates you at some point in your life. If anyone's gonna do anything ambitious, it comes from this idea that you're not gonna be here one day. Like it's kind of crazy. It's trippy to think about it, dude. That we're all just gonna be gone one day, whether you believe in the afterlife, whatever it is. But like on this planet, everyone's got a date. It's coming up, and so literally making the most of this 70, 80 years is important.
So the way I see it is like, hopefully we all live forever and as long as we can. But in reality, like I'm 41 years old and I'm just like, damn. I was like, I see people that are in their 80s and I'm like, half my life is gone already, right? Like people don't want to think about that. They're like,
Just
oh,
the
40-year-old is
reality of it.
yeah. People like, you're still so young. I'm like, well, think about it. I was like, half your life is gone. And as you get older and your health degrades, and I see it to a certain smaller degree that I'm at 40, I'm not what I used to be in 30, and so on and so forth. Your life is different, right? Physically, you can't do as much things physically, or things are a little bit more difficult. So you need to get the most that you can out of life. That's why I'm cherishing the moment that if I can make this happen, that I can enjoy financial freedom very soon to a degree of enjoying your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, bro, for sure, Edwards, for sure. So fast. Look at me split. Like, you guys ever like went over your friend's houses, or you had a neighbor and they had a kid that was always small when you were like maybe in your 20s or 18, and now you walk by and that kid is not a kid. That's a grown ass man or woman, and you're like, wow, right? Like this used to be a child, and now this child is a grown person, and you start realizing how quickly time passes. Now, any parent is going to understand this even more so because, we went to vacation. I came back a week later from Miami. My daughter just turned one, a little bit older than one, a couple of months. And you could tell a week already things change, and parents will understand what I'm saying over here. Time flies, dude, and you can't waste it.
It's wild, man. You really can't waste it. And that's why I think ambition is important, because I want to make the most amount of money. I want to have the most amount of success. I want to go for it, you know? I don't want to be scared of trying really fucking hard and failing in the process. Because inevitably when it's time to die, it's like, you're going to ask yourself, did I really give myself the shot that I thought I had? Because you're not going to get a second one unless you believe in reincarnation or something, right? It's here and now.
Bro, I feel you for me, and I've been doing like a lot of doctor's visits like over the last month, trying to prepare for 2025. I had my own personal goals. 24 was a financial goal. 25 is a health goal, where I'm going to do everything possible to be healthy. You know, diets and any physical health and things like that, and just work on yourself to have longevity. Because it's not only longevity of how long you're going to live; it's the quality of your life as you're living and as you're getting older. Really, really philosophical. Guarantee you, nobody in the chat thought this was going to be the conversation today.
No, and that's what happens when you get on. Paul says, "I'm the same age as you, Adam. You are nearly there with the dream. I'm grinding every week, working shift in a factory. Hopefully, someday I get out of here early. Best of luck to you from Ireland."
Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you, I appreciate it, dude. And you could do it, Paul. Only thing I could suggest is, you know, when you have stocks. For me, I start buying all stocks right now at 100 block increments, right? Always 100. Because at 100, you could do options. Dude, I have a friend, Ahmed knows a little bit more. Maybe he's watching my channel. I'm going to call him Mr. Z right now. And he was able to get into Palantir at $8. He was able to get into Robinhood options also at a very, like me. And he's like, yo, I never thought it was possible that you could and we're up over 10x on our Robinhood. We have an exit strategy right now. When Robinhood hits $30, we already have the sell orders in for our options, and we would be probably up around 2,500%, like 25x or 20x, like ridiculous amount of money. I think 20x. And and now I taught him how to sell options, not teach, not financial advice, but I showed him how I do mine. And he started doing it, and he has, and he's making a few dollars here, 100 here, 200 there. And he's like, yo, I never listened to you 6 months ago. And he's like, the plays you told me 6 months ago that you were doing, like, he's like, Palantir never hit $40 in June. You told me you could make $1 a share for June, $40 strike, but this was back in January.
Yeah.
And he's like, I never listened to you. And he's like, I would have made a certain amount of money. And he has a nice amount of Palantir shares as well. So what I'm saying is everybody starts at a different point. But what I suggest is there's a huge power in option selling. And it might be small. Maybe you can make $10 that week or $5 that week. If you sell 6-month options instead of managing it weekly and monthly, in totality, you're going to make less percentage in premium, but it's going to be a more significant hit because it's a 6-month play, and you don't have to manage it as much. So only thing I suggest is really pay attention on selling options, buy in 100 share blocks, and you can generate income through options selling. And this is true. It's a really significant amount of money.
Mark said, I'm from a generationally poor family. Stocks and crypto got me out of the work life for life at 37. Bless the global capital equities market. I think there's two ways also to kind of make it out of the grind. It's either option selling, right? That's one way. I'm not going to put real estate in the category because I think it's just too much hassle, work capital. Or the other thing you and I have done, you're not doing it anymore, but I'm still doing, which is content. Build a brand, get your ideas out there into the world, get your messages out there, get people to care about what you have to say. When you do that, attention, it is the greatest asset. It is more important than anything when you have people's attention. But that's a whole different journey of building it. But if you have no money, but you have time, anyone can start tweeting. Anyone can start putting out YouTube videos.
Yes. I was telling this shit to people before. Now, Ahmed is vastly more successful than my YouTube career was. He's also a lot more personable, and he does this really, really good hard work ethic. And I'm not going to get into his finances. We talk a little bit, but bro, it gets easier. And especially now that Twitter is here, X is here, Elon Musk, bro, you get paid on that too. So now your income goes up more. And now Ahmed doesn't take any brand deals. He doesn't take any promotions but in the future, he's going to take a promotion. I'm sure. That's what I'm thinking. Not his words, my words, that are aligned with him, right? So he might promote a product that he already uses, right, in the future. And now you're starting to generate even more income
I'm gonna make
Anybody
my
could
own
do
cowbell.
content.
We're gonna make my own
You
cowbell.
should make your own cowbell. You know, they just it'll come, dude. It'll come. I'm
See,
telling
that's
you,
the thing.
it'll
I've
come.
never been worried about monetization or what is the thing, because like I've seen the Meet Kevin route where he's vastly successful, but quite literally everyone can't stand him, and
I can't stand him.
because he tries to sell. So I'm just like, dude, what if you could be authentic and not sell anything for a long time and just build brand? Can you survive like that? And I think if you can do that, if I could be someone who could do that in finance, I mean, that's just, the upside is unlimited at that point. But my point is anyone can do that. It's hard.
Anybody.
Anyone can do that. As Chad said, you should sell bricks. Yes. And they won't be fake. They'll be real bricks. They're out right there.
Bro, anybody can do that because, look, as much as somebody can suck in life, everybody usually has one thing that they're good at, one hobby, be it, I don't know, fishing. Even if you're like a thief or you do something bad in life, show people how to, open up locks in
Dude.
cars and how to get your keys out, right? If you lock them in. Like, there's so many ways to turn a bad scenario into a good scenario.
Let me show you
Go.
this, dude. You can do anything in life. Dude, I was addicted to this guy for a while. You guys are going to think I'm crazy, the shit I watch on YouTube. Nick the Smoker. This is a guy.
Hey, how y'all doing here? Nicholas Smoker coming up.
He just smokes cigarettes all day. And I don't know why I like watching him smoke. He's talking about the smoke.
And it's got a very decent amount of smoke coming out of it. That filter is heavy. So I don't know what the hollowed out filter is. I don't know.
What the fuck is a hollowed out filter? I don't know, but he has
So he's definitely
170,000. Like literally, you could be pseudo killing yourself. I'm sorry, but it's the truth, right? If you're smoking this much, you're kind of it's not good. But you can make a brand out of it. Like,
can I tell you the funny thing? I would not be surprised if he's smoking old Soviet cigarettes, because when he said the hollowed out, I'm not sure what he was smoking. Old Soviet cigarettes, they have this much tobacco in it, and like the rest of the cigarette is literally hollowed out. It's like cardboard, bro. It's not even cigarette paper. It's just like a big piece of cardboard. And this is what people used to smoke back in Russia.
Kent Core.
What is this?
Kent Core.
Yeah, no, that wasn't it. But yeah, you could do anything with anything, bro.
Smoke. That's it. You can don't do it. I don't advise anyone to smoke and make YouTube videos. But the point is, if you can build an audience on that, YouTube is so big. There's 3 billion people. 170,000 are like, all right, Nick the Smoker. We'll watch your videos.
Anything. And people are, oh my God, people are so addicted to this freaking internet. Like, I think being addicted to finance is good because it helps your life. But this addiction of dumb ass shit, and I get it. People are just on that dumb ass shit.
Have you ever smoked a cigarette before?
What are you, the insurance company? No, of course not.
Well, I've never smoked a cigarette, and so maybe that's
of course not.
Because I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool, dude. People look cool when they smoke.
Nope, I don't enjoy it. I don't drink. I don't smoke. None of that.
Dude, it's just you can do anything, dude. You can do anything. I want to buy a pack of cigarettes one day just to smoke it, just to fucking see what it feels like. I want to do one. I need to do it online.
Oh man, bro. Yo, there's gonna be some spin-offs too. Like, I could see us do some stupid YouTube channel, man. Just coming up to people and talking to them on the random shit. I don't know even about what.
Have you watched ASMR videos where people are eating food and that's it? Like,
yeah,
I watch those too, bro. People are just eating McDonald's and like they get hundreds of thousands of views. Like,
it's absolutely insane. And people like reviewing food also. It's bro, you could do anything. I don't even know what else to say. You could literally do anything. It's so insane. Everybody has the opportunity. People just don't do it. But yeah, the ASMRs. And sometimes I'll catch myself watching this shit and I'm like, yo, why am I so mesmerized? And I'm not big on social media, but sometimes I'll get mesmerized and I have to like literally smack myself and be like, what the F are you doing? Why are you wasting your time watching this? I like watching chess channels. Chess, like
you and me love chess.
Yeah. Dude, it's so frustrating. I got so good. I was running on, the rating system. So now I'm between like a 900 and 1,000 rating, which is decent. That means you're a decent player. And everyone's so good. Like, it's very, very hard to move up.
Yeah, you're way better than me, dude. I played a couple games with Adam. He kicked my ass pretty quickly. You know what we need to do, dude? We need to get a lunch with Steve, and we need to smoke a cigar because I haven't smoked a cigar yet. Everyone, I think, in life at some point has to experience a cigar. Steve is like a connoisseur of cigars. I think you've probably tried cigars before in the past. Like, I want to actually try a cigar and like feel it after a good steak. That's what we need to do.
All right. So when you let me know, when you want to come to the city. I got the spots for you. And yeah, I gotta whenever you're ready, you let me know. Ahmed calls me when he's in the city. He's like, Adam, I'm coming to the city. I was like, all right, well, let's set the shit
Yeah,
up.
literally, I called him last week. I was like, yo, me and Chris are meeting up. You ready? He's like, yes, let's do it. And then we made fun of Chris for 3 hours for his pound. If he had
Guys,
held on,
he's so
dude,
mad.
he would be in the chat right now bragging so much if he held on. He just didn't hold on.
How are we doing with the live? You're about to close this out?
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, let's close it out. You gotta deal with your
One last question.
Yeah.
Do you think Trump? So the rumor is, guys, Elizabeth Warren is going to come up with a legislation that she's going to announce in the Bitcoin conference tomorrow, right before Trump comes out. She's going to finish hers, and Trump goes on after on stage, and she's going to announce a legislation that announces for a strategic Bitcoin reserve by the United States. And the rumor has it that Trump might sign off on that and be like, if I'm elected your next president, I will protect your Bitcoin rights.
If he does that, we're going to 75, bro. If he does that, we're going to 75.
I hope so, man. I really, really, really hope so, dude. I really hope so.
I don't know if he would really say it, though, because there's a lot of probably special interests that don't want him to say that. And maybe he would be a little bit more conservative with his words. But if he's just thinking about buying votes, he'd just say whatever the fuck he needs to say, dude. Right? Like, that's why Kamala not going to the conference. I'm like, what's wrong with her? Like just show up and say some stuff, like buy some votes. So
she was worried. The rumor is she was worried that people would get at her so bad for the last 4 years of guys. Anybody, I think if you own crypto or want to own crypto and you vote for anybody but Trump or RFK, you guys are morons because they're the only two that are going to protect your crypto rights. Just think about it. Warren, Gensler, all of this is coming from Biden Harris, right? They hate your right for Bitcoinization. Just, especially for your single issue voters. But yeah, I hope he's going to announce something similar. But that's why she didn't come in, because I think the rumor is in the crypto sphere that she was going to get, she was going to catch it, like with the questions and on the panels, and it would have been bad. Probably.
I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. But if Trump has a good performance, I mean, usually it doesn't pump on the conference, but it's pumping. So let's just hope it keeps going.
It's because this is going to be the first time of any actual significance. And also think about it. 2 presidential candidates are at the Bitcoin conference. This would never happen before.
Oh, yeah.
The third one almost was at a Bitcoin conference, right? Like, it's extremely significant about what's happening right now, plus the rumors. But I appreciate your time and I appreciate you having me on. I was bored and I appreciate your audience. Thank you so much. And hopefully in the future, I can make some content again for you guys. I was just on my own personal journey. So I had no time.
We needed you. We needed this conference. It's been long overdue. It's been like at least 3 months since you came on the channel. So people appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a while. I really, really appreciate coming over here. And guys, Palantir is the real deal. We were speaking about this shit when it was, $25, $20, $6, $7, and we're gonna keep speaking about it. And now all the haters all of a sudden are supporters. But remember, support your local content creators that were here at every single step of the way, and not just riding the coattails of Palantir's success. And you all know exactly what I mean.
I love it. Thank you, brother. Means the world.
Take care.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye, guys.
Have a good one. All right, that was fun with Adam. We got to spend a good hour and a half talking to him. It's been a while. I saw him last week, but it was nice to talk to him on live. after a while. Markets guys are doing okay still. Bitcoin 67.5, Palantir 27. IWM now is down, but it's still green. So we're green, but that's actually that's not bad because S&P is more green and QQQ is more green now that IWM is slightly more red. So markets are green. SPY and Qs are up. IWM slightly less green than it was before. Celsius is up. All the earning companies are up. Mag 7 looks like it's up. Nvidia is up 1%. It was up 3% in like at 9:30. Now it's up 1%. Microsoft up 1%. Google still down. That OpenAI news is hurting them, even though I really don't think it's a big deal. But markets are doing okay. Yeah, the only ones that are down are Tesla and Google. I still don't know why Tesla's down. Google's down. Microsoft, Apple, Meta, Amazon, Nvidia, those guys are up right now. Adam doesn't have YouTube. He used to be on YouTube. He doesn't do it anymore. But he's not currently on YouTube. 6.6 billion in Bitcoin by state of Michigan. So I saw that. I also saw Jersey City. So I live in New Jersey. Jersey City is close to me. They're allocating part of their pension fund to Bitcoin in Jersey City. I was shocked when I saw that, dude. I did not know a New Jersey city was actually willing to. Yeah, Mayor Stephen Fulop announces the Jersey City Pension Fund is updating paperwork with the SEC to allocate a portion of the fund to Bitcoin ETFs, similar to the Wisconsin Pension Fund's 2% allocation. More and more folks are coming into the Bitcoin world. All right. I think that's it. I do. Robert says skip cigarettes, go straight to heroin just to try. Dude, I really want to try a cigarette, dude. I know we're not supposed to, but I was in New York the other day when I went to the Atom, and everyone was smoking, bro. I was like getting like so much secondhand smoke. I was like, dude, I might as well just go buy some cigarettes and smoke if everyone else is smoking. But I want to try it one day. I don't want to get addicted to cigarettes, but I legit want to try a cigarette one day. I've never tried it before. I feel like before I die, I should try cigarettes. Probably won't do it because I'm too scared. I've never done cigarettes. But Nick the Smoker, again, this is the guy. I'm telling you, check him out. His content's addicting, bro. I found him in 2015. I found him years ago. And he doesn't post as much, but he has a big backlog of content. And he tries out cigarettes. And he talks about the hollow shell or whatever on the cigarettes, the filters. Like, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. But cigar, I definitely want to do, though. Cigar, I definitely want to do because cigar would be fun, especially with Steve, because he knows how to do cigars. All it takes is one. Well, that's why I've never done a cigarette. All it takes is one, right, to get addicted. I do have a bit of an addictive personality. Like when I got into music, I got addicted to it, even though I sucked at music. Basketball, I got addicted. I sucked at basketball. Debate, I was really good at debate, so I got into debate and it worked out. YouTube, I got addicted to YouTube, a couple years ago. So now I'm in your stock market, same thing. So that is one thing. Now the thing is, I've never been addicted to alcohol ever. Like ever. Like I drink here and there, but like I've never had that phase in my life where it's like I need to have a drink every day. Like so I don't know. Maybe with cigarettes it's the same, but alcohol has never made me like, oh my God, like I have a problem or I'm drinking a little too much. Just never had that phase ever. So I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't happen with cigarettes. I've done hookah before, but hookah sucks. It's like that. Hookah's like 5 packs of cigarettes in 1 or 2 puffs, right? Hookah's like not the best for you. But yeah, I've done hookah before. Okay, word of the day. We'll do word of the day, then we'll be back at 3:45, see how this market turns out. I think we'll have Steve on today, so we'll get his takes on the market. Wow, this cannot be the word of the day. The word of the day is Yahoo. What is this?
Yahoo.
Why did she say it like that, bro? She said it weird. Yahoo, a crass, ignorant, or uncultivated person. Okay, I thought that Yahoo's a company, so that is a weird one. Let's do another one. Herald.
Herald.
Herald is a verb to give meaning of notice of. She is being heralded as this year's best new author. Oh, that's an easy one. I know that one. Herald is an easy one. Let's do one more. Oh, this one's boring too. Pedestal. I know this one. Yeah, pedestal is like you're put on a pedestal. the base of a column or other tall object. We need a website with like interesting words of the day. Like a really like cool website that has like really unique words. I'm going to ask ChatGPT, what's a website that gives me unique vocabulary words daily? Let's see if we get a good website. Let's see. AWAD. Huh. Oh, this is a cool one. A word a day. Wordsmith.org. A word a day. This is an interesting one, but you have to subscribe to this on an email chain. Yeah, these are email based. Okay, so next time we do word of the day, we're gonna find a website that actually has weird words, so that we always get something actually unique. Because we knew what pedestal and herald were. Adam gave me a word of the day. Apophatic. Apophatic. Knowledge of God. Apophatic theology, known as negative theology. Oh, this is like atheism. Is a form of theological thinking and religious practice which attempts to approach God, the divine, by negation, to speak only in terms of what may not be said about the perfect goodness that is God. Oh, that's a really interesting one. Negative theology. Interesting. Get sponsored by one of them. Sagacious. What is this? I like this word. I like the gay part of that. Sagacious. This means quick and wise in understanding of judgment. I like that one. Sagacious. Okay. Sagacious. There you go. All right. So yeah, that's it for today. We'll be back at 3:45. We'll see how this market turns out. So far, so good. Not going bad. Google's down, but outside of Google, broader S&P is up. QQQ is up. They're up nicely too. And then IWM, although it's down a little bit, it is still up. So we got a green market, 2132 on Robinhood, 2689 on Palantir, Bitcoin, 67509 on the day. All right. We'll be back 3:45 p.m. I think we'll have Palantir Weekly as well. So if I miss you on the market close, we'll be back Palantir Weekly at 11 p.m. and keep going from there. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one. Hopefully you enjoy the discussion with Adam, and I'll see you guys later today. Bye, everyone.